What's happening, good people? I wanted to give a quick update. Hopefully you can see me. Sorry for the short notice, but maybe you should turn on notifications. And maybe you should investigate why your notifications don't work. Because YouTube sucks sometimes. Oh man. Man. What I'll do is I'll wait a few minutes. I'll give you guys a casual update before I give you an update on the AC200P. So guess what happened to me yesterday, last night? I think it was yesterday. This stopped working on me. This is the Ctech 240 or whatever. Oh, geez, what happened? I guess blocking my face kind of messed that all up. That's weird. Did it do it again? Yes, it did. This stopped working on me. This is my second one. Hey, Delgado. This is my second one of these devices that have been going strong. You know what I mean? It's my small portable power station, one of them. I have the Bodens as well, and the Bodens doesn't have USB-C charging, so it's not my favorite. I usually charge it from 5521 to 5521 from another power station. This one and a bunch of my 300 watt hour ones kind of live upstairs for the most part. So my Energizer will be up there. My R300 from GoLabs will be up there. The Smart List, which is the biggest one that's upstairs, is up there. The Bodens is up there. The Sevcoms, the new dip, where the video's coming out soon. It's been done. I had to push it back because of some other things I had going on with some videos that'll probably come out Tuesday. Some of you have seen it already because you've gone to the Patreon page and it's available on the Patreon page. What's up, Josh? Sorry again for the late notice. But this stopped working. I'm kind of shocked by that. It stopped working in the same way. So I charged it. I put USB-C into it to charge it from another power station, I believe. And it did like a quick blip and then it won't turn on. It had like 3 or 4 bars on it. So as you can see, I'm holding power. Nothing. Hey, Ali Jojo Place, what's happening? The Lepresti was good. Joe Tyson, always good to see you. South Padre Q, always good to see you. What's happening? So this one stopped working, man. I'm a little saddened by that. Dang it. And I had just been like really pondering what was the next power station I was going to give away. That doesn't necessarily impact this, but I'm down one out of like 19, right? But this is one of my only like super small, compact, thin form factor ones. Oh, we lost some letters. You don't see it? I lost some letters up there. Dang it. I don't know why they. Oh, okay. What's going on, Nathan? What's happening? So let me give y'all some exact information about the Bluetti AC200P. Let me find this information, this infotainment. My message to them is still unread in the AliExpress chat window. I asked Wayne to make a post for me in the Bluetti group. Mike Briney actually responded to it, but he suggested that I do what I did already, which was to message them through that platform. I also checked the post recently, and one guy said, well, he got the product, he just didn't get the cables. So he just needs cables, and he believes that it's refurbished. And I'm like, I don't know why a person would believe that, but okay. Let's see here. So let me refresh this page. And see how much time. Y'all will get it in a second. Just bear with me. Let's see. All right. So I opened a dispute with AliExpress. And I basically let them know that the options weren't great because here's my issue. There was like either item is not as described or item is missing accessories. So missing accessories is like a whole option AliExpress has on their site. So you know it must happen every now and then. Hey, MJ, what's happening? Regional Sky Girl, good to see you. Corey K, what's happening? My two-step guard. Hey, KLP, what's happening? Kimber Jack, some of that. The OGs in the chat. Good to see you guys. So I opened the dispute. I did not go with missing accessories because ultimately my problem is not necessarily just that they don't have the accessories. My problem is because you don't have the accessories, I don't feel like you did anything with this device. Also, one thing that I noticed, just a quick caveat, the time on the device was set back in 2020. So that's peculiar. A person has the ability to set the time, whatever. So it's like, has that thing been sitting around for 2 years? It's like, has it? I don't know. But I just thought that that was peculiar as well. So AliExpress's dispute system works as follows. That's my understanding. I filed a dispute on April 15th. It's the 16th. Max Oak has 3 calendar days, like 4 days to respond. If they don't respond, AliExpress is supposed to send me my money back. Now, they have those 4 days to respond. They can respond and we can try and figure something out. AliExpress is like, if you can't figure something out within that time, then they'll step in. And the estimated time that, let me see, does this show? The estimated time that they say for them to step in is April 20th. If you and the seller can't come to an agreement, we will step in and help. And then everything is kind of done on April 27th, it seems. They kind of like shut it down. I don't know. So it's interesting, you know? I feel like any reasonable person would put 2 and 2 together. It's like I said in the video, I can't trust that they really did anything with it. Wait, who's this? What are you talking about? Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to play that later. So there's a video I'm gonna put out soon. It'll be put out on Patreon first. It may only go to Patreon because I don't know how appealing that video is. Maybe when I put it out on Patreon, I'll ask the folks who rock with me on Patreon. It's like a good handful of you guys. It's like literally a handful, which is fine. I'm not complaining. Thank you. Also, for those few people, if you happen to watch this, don't feel compelled to keep giving. I know that that's something I don't want you to feel on the spot if like you stop contributing on Patreon. It's a monthly thing. You know what I mean? I get it. Ain't no hard feelings here. I'm going to put that over there and then I'll ask them if they feel like it's something that should be in prime time. But so what I did was I charged the AC200P up, but I went about it in an unconventional way. So you're going to have to kind of watch the video to find out how I went about accomplishing it. It's not some grand mystery, but I had my particulars. I may have even mentioned what I was going to try to do on the last live, and I tried to do it in the video. It's going to show how that went. Yeah, it's okay. My thing is, I haven't reached frustration yet. I'm not in a frustrated place. The thing that I am apprehensive about the most is people trying to get over once you enter into the conversation. It's just like, well, I don't want to have to argue with folks about stuff. I don't want to have to deal with that. But AliExpress seems to have a good system for dealing with it. Some people don't have great experiences with AliExpress. So hopefully the situation pans out well for me. And I'm amenable. I want them to be able to respond and work with them. I had like this idea. I wondered if like maybe they're shut down over there again and they can't respond. The people who run the Max Oak store. So if they went like 3 days and they only had a little bit of time left to kind of try and figure it out, I'd try and figure it out. I'm not unreasonable. Even if it went past the 4 days and they kind of were like, hey, boom, 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 can we figure this out? So on and so forth. I'd try to figure it out. The ideal situation for me is that they send me another device. If I get to keep this device, excellent. If I don't get to keep the device, that's fine too. But just send me something that was actually refurbished. Send me something. You even send me something new. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna turn down nothing but my collar, as they say in I think it's all about the Benjamin. My eye itches. Jeez. So another thing, that's pretty much it as it relates to the AC200P. The post in the Facebook group didn't yield much. I did email them. I haven't heard back from them. I did not send over the email from my Gmail, which is something that I said I was going to do, but I haven't done that yet. I'll probably do that Monday because I sent it from my AskIve domain. Let's see what's all snapping and driving about, if anything. Okay, cool. Y'all just chilling. All right, nice. Thanks for hanging out. Now, something I have been thinking about today is what power station am I going to give away? Actually, you know, I got the GoLabs i200. The GoLabs R500 came yesterday. Jasonoid did a review on the GoLabs R500. I was messing around with it yesterday. I actually had a 100 watt. I ordered a 100 watt one of these recently. And I was charging it from my EB120. And it was charging at 100 watts, you know, give or take. But then I went down there, and as it got fuller, it started to drop. But it wasn't full enough to the point where it should have dropped like that. And then it would like go back up. So I'm seeing some interesting behavior on a device. And I don't know if that's the EB120's fault or if that's the GoLabs R500's fault. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna try and charge it from. I may charge it from AC, but I think I'm trying to try DC when I can. So I think I'm gonna try and charge it from the AC200P. The AC200P is full now. I just wanted you guys to, you can watch the video to see how I got there. It is full, and I'm not necessarily crazy about using it because again, I'm not pressed, but it's full sitting down in the basement. It's pretty easy to carry around. It's just when you bring steps into the situation that it gets a little interesting, especially going up steps. Going down is a little unwieldy, but moving it around the house, that 60 pounds is kind of, it ain't nothing major to hold on for a few minutes to put somewhere. Yeah, so I'm going to try that with the GoLabs R500, and then I'll kind of like get into using it. It actually is, interestingly enough, Jasonoid, me and him were talking, and I was asking him if it was 5521 or 5525, and he said something weird to me that I found odd. He said, I think it's both. It might be 5521, but aren't they like compatible? And I'm like, not in my mind, but I think the GoLabs actually is one of those that can take 21 and 25. I plugged in the 21 cable and it fit. And when I first plugged it in, I was kind of disappointed because if it takes 5521, typically 5521, which is rated, my understanding, up to 10 amps on standard. But it's typically on these smaller power stations, and they typically max out at about 60 watts, right? So if it was 5521, I was a little disappointed because it's like the Rockpals is 5521, but it charges at 72 watts. But it also doesn't have pass-through charging. If you've been watching, I talked about it on a live one time where I mused that, well, maybe it can take in more solar because it doesn't allow you to charge and discharge at the same time. So maybe it can take in more solar because it doesn't get as hot because that inverter is not running while it's charging. That's my theory about why some of these devices may turn off charging on the AC and allow you to do DC. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. Of course. What else am I going to talk about? What am I going to get casual about? My wife was like, we were actually going to do a live today, like an impromptu kind of thing. And then she got all tired and was like, whatever. So I wanted to jump on and give you guys a quick update about what's going on with the AC200P. And she was like, yeah, do you mind if I join? I'm like, of course not. So she gets up and comes over and asks me if I'm still talking about solar. I'm like, Ninja, this is a solar channel. What am I supposed to be talking about? She's talking about something casual. I don't bring up casual stuff on purpose. It's like something in the comments kind of like gets me a certain way, and not gets me a certain way. Something in the comments, and then it triggers my brain, and then I kind of can go on that route. I remember because I'm an introvert, my wife is an extrovert. I remember having situations with her where, because I am an intellectual, I'm thoughtful and all of this jazz. She thinks I'm like having all of these involved and intricate thoughts throughout the day. So early on in our marriage, she would give me a hard time. She was like, "Well, you don't talk to me." And I'm like, "Well, I ain't got nothing to talk about." She was like, "You be thinking about this stuff all day and you ain't got nothing to talk about." And I think what I revealed to her is that a lot of times these thoughts are prompted, they're initiated. People will say something, I'll read something, I'll watch something, and then my brain gets to flowing. But I don't naturally have all of these intricate thoughts.
I still don't believe that. Hey, everybody. Good.
That's just unfortunate. What's up, 2%? What's happening? Wayne's around, Linda Iannoni, what's happening? I'm very suspicious waiting for... Wait, where'd that go? Did you roll it back? Oh, what happened, Mama? Give us 1 minute. I thought I unmuted it. All right, I'm back. KLP says I was very suspicious. Nah, fam. I was very suspicious waiting for some equipment when it went past the expected delivery date. I ain't mad at that. Yeah, it's tough when you it's like you value your coins, man. It's like I pay my coins, give me my stuff. Linda, all is well. All is well. I hope everything's well with you. Are you using your AC200P as of yet? No, I'm not. It's just downstairs chilling. It is charged though, so I got it on deck. I'm always looking for new ideas and projects. What do you usually use your solar backup power for charging devices and lighting?
For using it on the TV, and then the TV turns off in the middle of watching a show.
Usually use your solar,
or the internet will go out because power station went out. That's what he uses it for.
MJ says, "Hey." Regional Sky Girl says, "I enjoy my sister comes on a live. Y'all are so cute together. Thank you."
Regional Sky Girl. Hey, 2%.
My man Stacks in the building. What's going on, brother?
Hey, that's for me. Right?
You was an intellectual. You cooked that raw chicken in the microwave. I wasn't. I was a teenager though. I was a kid.
But he was a teenager when he did it, but he still feels like it was okay. He doesn't look at it like, yeah, that was whack. You've never yet said that.
It's like you cook food in the microwave all the time.
No, you don't.
You cook pizzas in the microwave. Not you personally. You cook pizzas in the microwave.
No one cook nothing in the microwave, babe. You don't cook in the microwave.
Well, you warm up something.
You warm up food that's already cooked, or you defrost.
Why? Listen, I don't want to talk about that. That's Ecclesiastes, man. It's meaningless. That is meaningless. Thanks, Stacks, for bringing it up. I'm gonna get back to your question about what I use. Hello, AskIve. How are you and the beautiful family? Bless you and your family. Wife has hair that fits her, and her cut is just beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I like this color on her. She's been kind of trying to figure out colors.
I wouldn't mind it being a little bit brighter, but. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. I'm still talking about solar. You sure you want to be here? I mean, is it too much for you?
Nope.
I actually figured out.
I know one thing. I remember somebody talking about AliExpress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Who's somebody?
One of the comments on, I want to say something like, Farside or something like that. I can't remember what exactly her name is.
You talking about a person who commented on my video? Or you talking?
On
Okay,
video.
all right.
Talking about AliExpress and this situation with the joint. She called it, I think, like a fake Amazon, basically.
Oh yeah, somebody commented that on
I'm
the
like,
joint.
exactly like that. Like I'm like every time I hear AliExpress, I feel like nah, that's not a good spot to make purchases from. I even went on a little rant. I was like, I don't want to hear no more about AliExpress, Hannah Express, Margaret Express, all of them expresses. I don't want
Hannah
to hear nothing
Express was
about none of
good.
them.
That was a good one. Hannah Express was a good one. I saw that comment. Of course. Sunny Backyard Farmer. What's happening, man? It's been a minute. How you doing? Wife throwing shade about using power stations to run TV and turn off in the middle of a viewing pleasure. You intentionally ignored her. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Or you smile, huh?
I was in another
of the reality.
I was in another thought.
Like y'all, we were hanging out on the couch today. The kids was napping. We was watching The Shop on HBO, and I didn't know until he said something, but he was nervous. Like a good portion of the time, we were just hanging out because he was scared that this TV was going to get shut off.
Listen, y'all, it was the Big Blue. I still have to put the video together, but in essence, the Big Blue has an issue with the display. I actually talked to them yesterday, my rep with them. I ain't got no rep. I ain't talking like I got a representative. I was talking to the guy I emailed, and he was saying he sent it all to the research team, and they kind of, sorry, excuse me, they're kind of like investigating it.
I just almost felt bad that for the last 10 minutes of us,
maybe 15,
like supposedly chilling and relaxing, he's all tense just waiting for the TV to shut off because one of his power stations blanked out on us. And of course, my attitude, my disappointment, was going to be just all on display.
Okay. So I can't trust the Big Blue. Actually, I was telling Dell the Big Blue said it had 14% left.
I don't remember.
Something weird. Like let's say it had 14% left. The TV uses about 35 watts, and the screen told me I could do that. I could run that power for 14 hours. You got 14% left. 14% of that device is about what? Like 100 watts, 75 watts, 80 watts, something like that. 10% of 500 is 50. You got an extra 4%. It's like 74, 72 watts.
I hope they require this. I'm looking at the dispute is in progress. 3 days and 13 hours.
You all slow, man. We done talked about that like 10 minutes ago. What you got to say? What's your commentary?
I need them to run me my money.
Right, run you your money. You ain't putting nothing on this.
I mean, your money's my money.
That's a fact. That is a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Linda, you said something. I wish I had enough solar devices to run all I would like to run, but one day I will. I guess I'm just a little jealous of all the power you have. Hey, I ain't mad at that.
And it don't last long, no, Linda, so don't be jealous.
Yeah, they're a bunch of small devices. I'm just starting to get like some more capable devices with the R500 being here. That's a good look. Because a lot of them are weird. Like
they're all trash now. I think now, like they're all janky. Like I don't understand how you have like 19 power stations, and I think there's only one power station that you have ever said was like faithful. Has yet to have any issues, and it was like one of the cheaper ones. No,
I don't count my three main devices. My three mainstays have always been kind of solid. The EV70, which sits right here, doesn't. It sits right here.
What's the name?
I just said it. The EV70. You want to know the brand?
I want to know the
I got like 4 Bluettis.
Well, Bluetti right here.
The Bluetti right here. That's what we're gonna call it. The right here Bluetti. I guess you could have that.
Okay, so that's solid. This hasn't given you any issues.
Yeah, the Ecoflow has given me issues, but the base model's been always fine. The EB120 downstairs has been fine, and the bull bat. That's what you're talking about. The bull bat has been clutch. Out of all my 500 watt devices, the bull bat has been like faithful. The Ctech has been fine too, but the Ctech doesn't have pass-through charging. And I'm talking about the bigger Ctech that Jasonoid reviewed maybe about a month or 6 weeks ago. It's the big, like, weird kind of orange one. That one has been fine. I can rely on that one.
It's just annoying that
It
like
is.
you have all these power stations and you kind of, my expectation is that there wouldn't be all of these quirks and things like just happening, and it feels like it's all the time.
Because of P-Pants over here, I can't trust using a 300 watt hour capacity device, because if it 300 watt hours is not long. So I feel like I gotta have a 500 watt hour device to use this stuff, because if something turns off, she's like, oh my gosh, babe. I'm over
Like, all we gotta do
you
is
can't have
plug
this.
it into the wall. I ain't never gotta worry about it. Like, plug it into the wall.
That's insulting to me as a solar guy. Plugging it into the wall. That's
I mean,
disrespectful.
at this point, it's because you promised that you was gonna get it together, and still months later, still constantly. At least we average at about
I need
4
to
times
get
a week.
4 times a week. You're bugging. Come on, man. I appreciate your honesty. I feel like internet has been stable. Internet hasn't gone down in a long time.
That is true, but I'm waiting for that to happen. Like,
it's not.
Okay.
And then TV, the last time it went down was because of I don't know what it was because of. It don't matter.
It's literally like chilling, watching a cool show. They in the middle of it and it's black.
Oh, it's happened to me a couple of times, but I don't care. I'm not inconvenienced by the TV turning on. It's like, oh, if it turned off, I just go plug it into something else. And that's what I do. I don't care. She's the one that's like, oh, so it hasn't turned off on you in a little bit.
I felt conflicted, but I felt kind of good when you were on your live and the internet went down. There was a part of me that felt like, yeah, see, yeah.
It's like, it don't matter to me.
All like 2 days ago, you was all like,
I don't care.
But I feel like at the same time, you were kind of like, oh, it's not up yet. It's not up yet. People were waiting.
Because you plugged it in wrong. What? That's what had happened.
There was an inconvenience there.
Let's see what Stack's talking about. Since she keeps taking all your money.
You ain't right. That's so sweet, though. Thank you.
Man. I gotta get back to this question. What all do I run? Okay, where Linda? Is it? No, it wasn't Linda. It was somebody else. I'm always looking for new ideas and projects. What do you usually use your solar for? Really? You wildin'. You super childish. You went to CVX for Cortex and my Bugatti. Just get the remote though. Oh, that's the only thing that matters. Everything else I can take care of. Nope. Mess it up. Boom. Stop.
Okay, so I like Shaq and the Fool. I love like bloopers and like scare cam on YouTube.
She goofy. That's why she like it.
I love to laugh. I love to laugh. I love fails. So we watch a lot of like the Army fail or fail Army and fail gangs and all. I love those.
All the things.
All of that.
So what do I use to run solar?
Yes.
I run my internet from solar. I run TV from solar. I try to run my kids' Xboxes and their viewing sessions from solar. I charge phones from solar. I run my laptop and monitor for work from solar. This live is running off of power from solar. The lamp that's lit, the camera that's powered, my laptop, my monitor, something else. Yeah, I use the lights for lighting up our ground level. I just one, so it's not just pitch black down here. I use it for that. I use them as like kind of accent lights in our bedroom to provide light so we're not walking into a dark bedroom. During the summer, I'm going to be using them on fans and stuff.
The refrigerator downstairs, and you use it down there.
The deep freezer is on solar from time to time.
Which I don't like because for obvious reasons. Like that's food.
The only issue I have is that mini fridge because it's not as efficient. I don't like messing around with that. I kind of have a hard line rule for that one. Like I don't let it go into the night. But because I have some bigger power stations now, and I could possibly have bigger power stations in the future, and that shouldn't be a problem with them lasting through the night. So overall, what I'd be trying to do is manage my loads because my power stations are so small. So music? No, not really. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I want to get my kids' room. I use like little Yi and Wise cameras off of battery banks that only charge from solar. There's some I don't charge my devices themselves, like my solar generators. I hate to call them solar generators. I'm lying. I don't hate to call them solar generators. That's not my thing. I hate calling them sogens. Which is fine. You know, no beef or anything about that. That's Hobo Tech's turn. I try not to charge my power stations from the wall if I can avoid it. So yeah, that's what I power. I want to get our main fridge on solar, but I have to pull it out of its cubby hole to use that. If the AC200P pans out, or if I start to get bigger devices, I'm definitely going to see about washing clothes from solar power. That's going to be interesting to test out. Yeah, you can't dry them, but you can wash them. Air conditioners is going to be an interesting thing. It's not going to be for long, but shoot, if I could run an air conditioner for an hour using maybe 1,000 watts and I'm getting in 250 against a 2,000 watt hour battery, I could run that for like what, 2 hours, maybe 3. If I'm getting 250 watts in to offset it a bit, 750, that's 14. So yeah, about 2 hours and some change. Maybe just 2 hours when you deal with the conversion loss. So yeah, I'm out here in these streets. All right, I think I've successfully answered that question. So let's see what's going on around yonder. What's up, Joe Trot? How much wattage does the internet cable use? Interesting thing. So I have a video about me putting my internet on solar. I need to share that on the community tab because that's some of my old videos you guys haven't seen. YouTube may dig into the crates and kind of show you something every now and then, but some of my earlier videos, some of you guys haven't seen. So I have a video about these TCL TVs. I also have a video about running air conditioners off the EV70 and the Ecoflow River. I also have a video about my internet. My internet, because I have Fios, it has a network terminal, that big old box that takes the fiber and turns it into like coax or Ethernet, uses about 10 watts. And then my router itself uses about 10 watts. So typically when I'm looking at the router, and I have to run them both off of AC because I can't find a barrel connector that plugs into my router. So they'll use about 18 to 20. You'll see it kind of ebb and flow. So 20 watts for the internet.
All I heard was wah, 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 wah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Hey, Sharon. Replace the EB120 with the AC200P, problem solved. Okay, Wayne. I have all the solutions faced. Oh, I do need the heater in the bathroom. I might use it to run a 500 watt hot plate in the kitchen. I do want to get a conductive hot plate because some of them can use like 1,100 watts, maybe 700 watts, and then 1,500 watts or whatever. And they only use the power to transfer heat to certain type of pans and pots. The rule of thumb is that the pot has to be metal for it to work on one of those conductive hot plates. I want to get one of those, but that's more like a preparedness thing. I don't know if we would ever use it. Just like the Mr. Heater Buddy thing. We wouldn't ever use it unless we actually just, electricity was out during wintertime. But I also have a 200 watt heater and a 400 watt heater that I sometimes run. Most times I run it from the wall, right? But I like to be able to run it from a power station. And because I have more kind of 500 watt power stations than I had back then when I first got the heater, I kind of like, I would like to use it more, but then my wife doesn't like it because it doesn't put out heat fast enough as a 750 watt or 1,500 watt heater. So, you know, I just
This one
gotta,
is a whack heater.
it just ruins it for me because she be coming in there talking about why you pull out this whack heater. I'm like, that heater's fine.
It's not.
It doesn't heat up the bathroom. It just takes a little longer. That's all.
You
And
know,
it uses
I
less
love
power.
to be able to, if I want to heat up, because the bathroom is already small. So I like to be able to turn on the heater, you know, full blast, walk out, you know, do the little small things. It's going to be like 2, maybe 3 minutes to really get, you know, ready to take a shower. Go back into the bathroom and it's nice and toasty and warm. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta wait like 10, 15 minutes for that little punk heater to like really like put a dent. And man, like, who got time for that? I want to be able to turn it on real quick, you know, go do what I need to do real quick, come back, and everything is like toasty.
What is that? I'm over here rolling. Y'all are so much better than. What is that? I gotta use my little zoom. I can't see these little emoticons.
Server?
TV? I don't know. I don't know. What are we better than, Regional Sky Girl? Tell us, please. Tell us some of your cracky tales. Not you personally. That's the Chris Rock joke. Oh man, that's good to hear Sunday Backyard Farmer. They are all trash while all the companies are watching. They're like, wow, trash. Okay, I could just hear that in your accent, Wayne.
Yeah, me too.
Get it together, a lot of shade. Yeah, that's all she threw is that. Let's see. Having something in the middle of a show, no, I would not like that either.
And thank you.
I respect that.
Thank you. Often at that, you know. And then every time, like when I'm down here by myself, because it's like midnight, 1:00 in the morning, and he's up there knocked out, and it happens.
That's when it happens, because I haven't done my.
It's happened plenty of times with you, right? Just regular during the day.
Not during the night though. Like what happens at night is like I usually take care of the boys' nighttime routine usually, and I'll go up and sometimes I'm just tired, and if I lay down, I haven't done my like.
Don't even really
Can
matter.
I finish my statement,
It's just
please?
the fact that, like, yo.
So no, I cannot finish my statement.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes I haven't, because I went to sleep, I didn't come down to do like my nighttime shift, which is why I don't use 300 watt hour devices, because I need something that lasts a little longer, because it's not going to cut it for her.
And I feel like, you know what?
What you feel like?
It's like all of this drama to save $1 a month. You know what I mean?
It's a little more than that. I don't want to do the math again, but it's a little more than that. It all adds up.
This portion. Just the TV and internet.
That's like saying, like, when I go to GetGo to save money, it only saves you 10 cents. But it's like if you're going to GetGo to save money, and you're also going to Sam's Club to save money, and you're also going to Walmart to save money, all of that stuff adds up. You can't minimize one aspect of the frugality of stuff and poke fun at that. Like, oh, you saved 2 cents on your, you got a free slushie worth $1.50. It's like $1.50? You do that all the time. And you harp on that all the time. Is it not the same?
I don't appreciate
Throwing slushies.
I appreciate how you brought it all home, like using all the stores that I actually shop at.
I don't appreciate that.
Like, that's just not cool. Because like it renders you like incapable of having a comeback. You know, I have no comeback. Yeah. I have no comeback.
Oh, it's a television. Yeah, I imagine it was a television. Thanks, Delgado.
Still not cool. I don't care. I feel like it's not worth the
induction. Thank you. What did I say? Conduction? I don't know.
It's still not worth it. Because there have actually been times where I panicked, especially when the internet went down. I actually panicked because I wasn't ready to go call it a night. And then if I was to come and wake you up, I gotta wait 10 minutes for you to get your brain together to be able to help me out. There was one time it happened, and you was in the shower. He had to come down with a towel wrapped around on the swab out the wires. It's like this inconvenience is just unnecessary for the savings that it is.
Y'all know what the reason was?
And guess who's the one who's being inconvenienced? It's me.
The freaking Ecoflow. Yeah.
You ready? You want to eat some food? Okay, what food you got? What food
Okay.
do you want to eat?
The reason was the freaking Ecoflow battery wasn't working properly. So imagine having a 500 watt hour device, but it only acts like it has 250 some odd watt hours. It's like I was dumping all of this power into this device, and then like, man, why is this not lasting as long? And then I was so like occupied with everything else I had going on in the power station realm that I didn't like pay attention to the fact that I was getting cheated out of 250 watts, 280 watts. So that's what the problem was. I was never expecting it to die so fast using 20 watts. That's literally the only thing I put on there sometimes, unless the sun is on like Habib Marwan, then I'll put the TV on there, and the TV only uses 40 watts. I like splitting it between the TV and the internet because that 60 watts can eat into it really fast. You know what I mean? So that was the problem. That was why the internet was turning off so often, because I didn't have a power station big enough there that I couldn't like not manage. I needed to be on top of it all the time because it was essentially half the capacity. I think we all need to see that there are trade-offs. You need to decide which ones are worthwhile. Yeah, as I get bigger devices, she ain't gonna have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be good money. Good money. Induction burners are great. Use one at work for demos, and it was great because as soon as the pan pot is off, the burner heat is gone. Is gone, except it takes a few seconds to cool if you are. Glenformer doesn't like Ecoflow. Oh man, that sucks. He wasn't ever really a big fan of Ecoflow. Then the device kind of impressed him, but then he had the issue, and I don't know anything about what has transpired after that. Thanks, Stax. I appreciate that. Finish your statement. My other half won't let me either at times. What finish my statement? Robert Johnson. She need to shut up. She don't need to talk. Sweet Daddy Kool-Aid. That's quite a name. Would you buy a sweet
Daddy Kool-Aid?
Yeah. Would you buy a dehumidifier for emergency water? We have a dehumidifier. It's for a good friend of ours, and we've been trying to.
I'm gonna say, you have good Kool-Aid? Do you like Kool-Aid? Like, what's behind that name? Because I like Kool-Aid, so that piques my interest.
Right. We have a dehumidifier, and it belongs to a friend of the family. But we've been kind of like, I'm always kind of on the lookout for a good dehumidifier on the marketplace for like a good price. And whenever it is, because we live somewhere where the humidity and we have basements and, you know, everybody kind of needs one. Everybody kind of has one. If you don't have one, you're looking for one. And if you have one, you at some point you don't need one because you like moved or something like that. It's like a whole thing. So dehumidifiers are always on the marketplace up here. I appreciate that. Just tuned in. So basically, I filed a dispute, and Maxoak has 4 days to respond, or AliExpress is going to send me my money back. That's what they say. I don't know if AliExpress is going to actually do that. I'm not sure. I've never dealt with AE before, so I'm not sure. Okay, I read that. Oh, babe, Wayne says, Dell, learn to monitor usage and capacity so this way you can avoid the issue of the TV turning off. She don't care.
You know what I would consider, like getting like my own power station to manage, so that I could understand like what's going on, how much power I have left, and I could. You know what? It's like I always resort to the fact that I have a wall outlet. Like that's my plan B, and that's the most reliable thing I have.
And that's fine. I don't mind that I mean, it would be cool if you knew enough about the power station to just be like, okay, this one's dead, let me grab another one. Okay, this one's full, let me grab it. I don't expect you to do all that.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
That would be cool. But I don't mind you plugging stuff into the wall after it dies.
It feels like it offends you. It feels like
it does. I don't like it, but I don't mind it.
It just feels like if I was to use the wall you know, and you got these power, like there's
and
something about
using
that
the wall instead of a power station. But if you're here downstairs by yourself and I'm asleep or I'm at work and something stops working, just plug it into the wall. That's fine. I never have an issue with that. Now, I will say this about the dehumidifier. I don't know much about that stuff. I haven't researched it, but I imagine you still need to treat that water in some way. You can't just drink water from a dehumidifier. I got to put that out there. Do you think it makes sense to use the AC200P to charge my other batteries, daisy chain style? I talked about this in the last live a bit, Corey K, because Gone Again mentioned that using the AC200P, because it has such a big inverter, right? Let's just say in theory, I haven't tested stuff like this. I don't have time to test it. Set tight is into testing stuff like that, and he's kind of going through the motions of his. Excuse me. But it could be a possibility that using that inverter will probably use more power because it's such a big inverter. So you may not, in theory, want to turn on that big inverter to charge like a 60-watt laptop, right? You may want to use your smaller power station to charge that laptop because that's a better way to match those inverters. It's only a 300-watt inverter at that point or a 200-watt inverter. I hope that kind of answers the question. So I think that what Gone Again's point was, is if you have to use your AC200P, then go ahead and rock out. You turn that inverter on, bang out, just charge everything up you can. And then when you're done charging all of your small steps, I likened it to a gas generator because that's a tactic of using a gas generator. You power it up, charge up your power station, and then you could go back to your peace and quiet after it's done. Turn that generator off, and then you got all your power in your power station. I'm glad I caught that question because I sure missed it the first time around. What's up, LVP? Good to see you, bro. My River Max has worked out well. The only thing I don't like about it is it isn't LiFePro 4. I dig that. Sweet Daddy Kool-Aid said nothing better than sweet flavored sugar water.
I was just thinking, like, what if he's in some lemonade and stuff like that?
I don't know what that's about, MJ. I'm catching it late. I had to send my Ecoflow River Pro back. They sent me another one, and I'm checking it out. Yeah, I say for a long time, man, it seems that everyone has to return the Ecoflow River product at least once. I don't know if that's true about the Delta, but when you think about it, the Delta is more in line with what Ecoflow likes to charge for their devices. The Ecoflow River, I think I don't necessarily, it's a super capable device for that price. Let me just say that. And Ecoflow used to be notorious for having really expensive devices. They were not priced according to the market. And that's business sometimes, you're the first to kind of like do something dope and it costs you a little more to do it. So you got to charge them a little more. But they've had devices that were like 300 watt hours that were like $650. That first Ecoflow portable power station, it was super slick looking. It was nice. It charged from a USB-C solar panel. It was an interesting, I think it was a interesting device, but it was expensive. That's why when that Ecoflow R600, the Kickstarter version came out, and it was so deeply discounted, we did not have the coins for that, but I was compelled. And I'm not saying necessarily that we couldn't afford it, but I'm the kind of person like I'm held tight a bit, reasonably so, because some people are just cheap. I'm not cheap. I'm just mindful of my coins. But I was thinking about that because the price was really nice on that dip. Because Ecoflow had a track record for charging like really crazy prices for their devices. So I was like, man, you could get this whatever device for $299. And I'm just like, geez, or you could get this one $399 and $499 was just I couldn't stomach that fiscally, but the $299, I was like, man, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's it. You need to give her a 500 watt power station Teach her everything about it, and then put the onus on her to manage it. Shit, okay. Oh, nice. Setai actually just sent me a video of him hanging out in his. I don't want to put his business out in the street. I don't think he would care, but you know, the evil wall socket got to have that power. Yeah, that wall socket, man. I'll have to figure something else out. As I get more power stations, at some point that'll probably free up my Ecoflow River, and then that'll probably be the one that will be most conducive to her using it because it's a fly device. You know, it's 500 watt hours. It has the application control. I connected it to Wi-Fi for convenience purposes because I was trying to manage this situation of like her and not wanting. I need to be in the know on that device, and plus I was testing things, so it was like, you know, I put it on Wi-Fi. It's on my guest Wi-Fi though. It's not on my main Wi-Fi. Okay, Linda Iannoni is saying if you use a dehumidifier for water, it's suggested that you put it through a filtration before you drink it. Okay, my wife wants to get the reverse osmosis system. The only hesitation I have about that, and it's not a real hesitation, is that water has to come through your water line. So you can't. My understanding is that you can't like pour your own water into that system. It's like a built-in kind of thing. So I would like some other type of filtration. Like I want to be able to get maybe a life straw or a few of those. I'm not there yet mentally to be buying that stuff, but I have to do some research on it. But at the Sawyers and stuff like that, my understanding is they're not expensive. So I need to get on it, I suppose. I never had to return any of my Ecoflow products, but you don't really use them either. So, I mean, you know. The River S370, the first Ecoflow power station. Yep, that's it. I knew you would know. I know my AC200P feels like it could injure me when I have to carry it up some stairs. That joke is heavy. Yeah, it's like, it's not heavy to me, except when I'm putting it on stairs. Like, if I'm just moving it around, I could grab it with like one hand. It's not a problem. But that's for short distances. Like, it's not a big deal for me. But when I take that thing downstairs, I'd be like, you know what? It's going to stay down here. But even still, it's still manageable. I don't know what you would do with that 100-pound Delta Pro. That would be a whole thing. I'll give y'all a case in point. Right now, my TV is on the GoLabs i300. I'm testing it to see how long it takes for the fan to come on. I'm not testing it. I'm just observing it. And it's actually doing pretty good with the fan thing. And that's something that I'm really been becoming a big fan of power stations that don't use the fan a lot. They're like a little smarter or whatever. You know what I mean? Some of my, like the Oupes, the fan runs off top. You know what I mean? It doesn't run the whole time, but it powers up. It ramps up like, and then maybe about 3 minutes later, and it's the same thing with the GoLabs R300, and it's the same thing with the Energizer. They both do the same behavior. The Sawyer Mini is cheap, was $20 perhaps, now 22 to 24. Oh, okay, cool. That's not bad. I probably have to spend like $100 on them or something, like just in terms of like my whole family. But even still, I need to know what those things are because some of them are for certain things. At least that's my understanding. I'm not clear about what's what. I just need to be able to know, like when I go to the creek and put a bucket of water, what do I need to do to be able to drink that water? Can I go directly from a Sawyer or a life straw? Do I need to like boil it as well? It's like, I think practical preparedness. His channel mentioned like the different types. I'm gonna keep my other thoughts to myself because I'm a thug. On reserve. Is that the blanket? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, true. Would a Brita water filter need the requirements? Would a Brita water filter meet the requirements? Maybe.
Mhm.
It kind of has me wanting to get a picture because we've always used water purification. We use Pure for
Right.
years. And it's the little faucet attachment. And my cousins or her cousins, they use like the water pitcher from Brita, which is cool. I just want like another option that I could literally pour water into. So because we could do rainwater around here. It's like, what does it take to drink rainwater? I don't know. So I gotta like learn, you know what I mean?
But I do plan on getting the reverse osmosis filtration system that you have to attach to the faucet. I want to get. I have one in my Amazon cart, and it's been in there for like a couple of years. I had planned on pulling the trigger on that.
I talked about it.
Oh, my bad.
If you drink water straight from a dehumidifier, you're drinking water that dripped off the coil. It's got metals and whatever crap is in the coil in it. Ah, okay. Berkey water filter. Yeah, I'm not ready to spend that coin on Berkey. I feel like the filters, it seems like
He's not ready to spend money on no filter because the filter that I have is $200. It fluctuates $15, $20. Have you had to pull the trigger?
I'm cool with it now. I mean, like, I think you were saying it was like $1.87 or something like
That's
that.
like the cheapest it's ever gone down.
Yeah, you know. What's up, Paycheck? Build your own what? But the filters, or buy the filters and food grade water buckets. Yeah, I see them from time to time. I only see the huge stuff though. I'm not ready to have all this junk in my yard, but
Me neither.
it's like I will want to store the water in something. Maybe I could find something small, but I mean, we're like 6 people in this family.
And we drink water. Like, that's the main thing we drink. Build your own. What? How?
But whichever one you get, always boil the water first. Okay. All right, Paycheck. I believe you.
Really? That sounds like such a hassle.
I think there's like different aspects to it. Like boiling does one. Somebody said there's a difference between like purification and sanitation and whatever. There's like layers to it. And I was just like,
Yeah, it's like all these Alaskan and outdoor shows you watch. That's why it's all kind of like jumbled up. Because you can filter water through rocks and sand or something like that, right?
yeah, you can. That's what I mean. The water filter through a Berkey or Alexa Pure. I've never heard of that one. Does not need to be boiled.
Installed. I'm not about to boil nothing. I'll boil some if we desperate, we on hard times.
That's what I'm saying. You missed the whole dip where I was just talking about this aspect of like the reverse osmosis and okay, cool. The reverse osmosis is water that has to come from the city. But what if the city can't provide you water anymore? We got this whole filtration system under the sink that is useless.
Awesome.
You see.
Go ahead. Go. Better get it. Put it in the toilet.
Zero water filter. I feel like just go with him, please. Because zero water filter has been using it for 5 years now. There are 2 new water systems out now. I saw the review on YouTube. I think one is the Zero and the other one is the Aquaphor. I think I just got the Zero picture but haven't used it yet. That's what Wayne just mentioned. The practical gadgeteer. A filter may not remove aromatic compounds. For that, you need to distill the water. It's like, geez, my gosh. Charcoal is the main filter material in most of the water purifiers. Blah 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 blah. I dig that. Let me see if any of y'all comments got blocked. No. Hey Stacks, man, thanks for them coins, man. I appreciate you. So what I'm dealing with right now is trying to figure out which power stations I'm gonna give away, and I'm in the early stages of it. So my struggle is I'm thinking about, this is how it's kind of been going. I've been thinking about it today, and it's just like, okay, my Jackery's not going anywhere. I like that device. I have the Jackery 300. It's the best Jackery they made, in my opinion. I say that all the time. The Energizer, I think we caught him red-handed. The Energizer is one that's not going anywhere, I don't believe. And the reason why the Energizer is not going anywhere is because it's LiPo and it's also 100 watt PD in and out. That device would be like super dope if it took in 100 watts from solar. That would be dope. It would also be dope if it dual charge, right? Because it's all these little like caveats. The Rock Pals is like my first choice to go. But here's the thing about the Rock Pals. This is why I would let the Rock Pals go. The Rock Pals doesn't have regulation in it, and it also doesn't have pass-through charging. Another downside is the PD port is only 30 watts. So the Rock Pals is like 3 strikes against it, right? But it charges at 72 watts. Nothing else besides the jackery and my, hey, calm down. Say what you need to say, but don't be erratic about it. I get it, but just be clear about what you need and then relax. Jojo, don't be weird, man. So all of these power stations, with the exception of the Rock Pals, my smaller power stations, they all charge at 60 watts. So I'm in this like, I don't, you know what I mean? I wish I had, like, let's think about the To-Go Power. To-Go Power reached out to me. They have that yellow power station. And it seems like that dips charges from 80 watts, but it's not LiPo. But it could replace the Rock Pals because it charges at 80 watts. The Rock Pals charges at 72. It's like that's kind of how my system works. If I could get something that's a little bit better to replace a device, then I don't need 2 of them. I don't need 2 devices that charge at close to 100 watts. I got the jackery, and then I have the Rock Pals. Everything else is kind of like extra. Let's see what you guys. Okay, you have the Life Straw, Delgada, cool. Osmosis filtration is very expensive. Last time I checked, and it's not portable. That's another thing. It's not super expensive, at least whatever my wife is looking into. It's only like $200. I don't see this being expensive compared to how much we spend on water. Please hit the thumbs up. Coal, pebbles, sand, cotton t-shirt, spigot are all things you need to make a water bucket. You need 2 buckets. Lead did a video making one. Lead Farmer 73 is who she's talking about. Got the stuff going to make one soon. Yeah, I saw that. That's not my thing, but okay. I'm not a DIYer, man. What's up, Cedric? Oh, okay, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I talked about it briefly in the scammers video, but yeah, no, people responding to comments saying you won something, y'all just steer clear of that. We run the giveaways a specific way around here. So if you see a comment that looks like me or anybody on any channel, that's, Lead, Will, Hobotech, Jasonoid, any of those guys, don't fall for that. That stuff is a scam. Baby's adding her 2 cents. Oh, no audio. Yeah, I muted it. That's why I put on my hand like 1 second. You must not be talking about the one for the house. Yeah, I am talking the one that goes under the sink. It's not for the house. It's for one area. So maybe you're talking about full house filtration. That I could see that being really expensive. This is for one localized zone. So it becomes a situation where, like, even in this situation with my smaller power stations, my super small, and then I got the Bodens, I got the Savcoms, and I got the Ctech. The Bodens is 166, the Savcoms and the Ctech are 240. Then the Ctech just died, so it's like now all I really have is the Savcoms, which is like the it's like the Energizer power station from back in the day. It's in the video. I still haven't put the video out. The video is going to be out on Tuesday. So it's tough. Right now, I have in the 500 watts that I'm kind of thinking about giving away. I have the Mylan, the Oukitel, and the Smartless. And they all have their certain quirks, right? The Mylan, the Oukitel, and the Smartless, they're all lithium ion. The Oukitel came with nothing but a power cable. The Smartless has dual charging, so that's cool. Why does it feel? Oh, okay, cool. The Smartless has dual charging, so that's kind of cool. But it doesn't show input on the screen, right? But it can charge from 60 watts of PD. But I'm not really crazy about that either. I like devices that can charge from 100 watts of PD. The Mylan can, but the Mylan can't charge from solar very well. It does okay, but and then the Oukitel is just a battery power station because I actually found the tip that works with it today. And this is from my big blue solar panel, and it's this tip right here.
Come finish your cereal.
This green one. Fix your voice.
Yeah. Okay, well, what should you be doing with your cereal then?
So this is a 5525 set of adapters. So I would be adapting it like all crazy, but I need to see if any of my 5521 adapters have this particular tip, and I don't think I do. I mean, I may, I'm not sure. Like this one is green, and it should work, but I feel like I tried it. Maybe I didn't try it hard enough or something, but this is a 5521 tip, so I have to try that on the Oukitel. And what that does for me is that'll give me the option of hooking it up to solar. And I think it can charge up to 120 watts from solar, right? Okay, cool. If I'm still here, shoot. Thank you. So I don't know. I think the one that I would probably lean towards giving away is the Oukitel and the Mylan. I thought about sending the Mylan to James, and then giving the Oukitel away to somebody. Or I thought about doing a giveaway where I let somebody win, and whatever they win, they get to pick between the Oukitel and the Mylan, and whichever one they don't want, I give to James. You know what I mean? Because I try to give the devices away in a fair way. But yeah. The Ctech is cool. It's a 500 watt. Just to let you inside of my brain a little bit. It's a 500 watt, and I like the Ctech. The Ctech has been kind of clutch for me. It has its little quirks. I still need to do the video. I'll be doing the video on that very soon. I started putting my notes together recently because I felt kind of lost information-wise as it relates to Ctech. I keep looking that way because it's over there under the TV. It doesn't have pass-through charging though. So in a situation with my wife as it relates to the TV, if I have a device on that because one, I'm trying to use 500 watts, right? I don't like using the Oupes because the Oupes fan is annoying. It comes on all the time. It's not as annoying as some other fans, but it's still annoying. You can hear it. So the Big Blue doesn't have fan noise. The Ctech doesn't have fan noise. Keep in mind, remember what I said? These devices that don't allow pass-through charging, they typically have some. I wonder if it has something to do with heat because the Ctech is quiet. No pass-through charging. The Big Blue is quiet, no pass-through charging. They both take 100 watts from solar, give or take. No pass-through charging. The Oupes, it can charge from solar. It can output AC at the same time, but the fan is always running, or it kind of comes on and goes off, comes on and goes off. I think that that's incredibly interesting. But in terms of the devices, I try to use a 500 watt hour device, but my Big Blue has problems because I can't trust the screen. So that immediately puts me in like a limbo where I don't know how long this device is going to last. I can't charge it to supplement it, right, to keep it going. So it's kind of useless to me in that regard. And the Ctech is the same way, but the Ctech is at least solid. It doesn't tell you time remaining, but it has a 10 bar display. So you know each 10 is 50 watts. You know what I'm saying? So when you get down to that one, you know you need to be kind of wrapping it up. But I can't put power into it to supplement it to keep my TV running long. So right now I have all of these power stations, but very few of them kind of like fit the bill. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like even right now, I'm in a position. I tested out the first generation Oupes. I put it on a folding panel, and it definitely it just has an issue charging. It doesn't charge from a solar panel. I just got the R500. The interesting thing that's going to be about that one is that one may be a good contender for being behind the TV. But I have to see how the fan works. But I do know that it can at least be charged and discharged at the same time on the AC. So it has pass-through charging. It is 500 watt hours. So that device is really a nice package as it relates to me. And then I could take it and put it on a 100 watt panel. I think it'll probably get somewhere decent, maybe around 87 watts. But that one is that one puts me in a space where, okay, I got an R500. That one's cool. It doesn't have the limitations of the Big Blue and the Ctech because it has pass-through charging. It also has a 100 watt PD port that can be bi-directional. So I can power dump into it relatively easy. Like I could take my EB120, grab it from downstairs because that thing is beast moding on the Renogy panel. I'm just excluding the AC200P right now because that's in limbo. I grab that, grab my little adapter that can dump out 100 watts, power dump into the R500. As long as the fan is good, that one's going to be great for being behind the TV, right?
What did you say? Give away and let somebody win?
So, you know, James asked for assistance, right?
Oh, so you saying give away to him?
I'm saying like what I was saying is like if I do a giveaway, I'll maybe potentially give away the Mylan and the Oukitel, and then the person who wins gets to pick which one they want. Because that
And then the other one is going to be given.
right.
Somebody say, ain't that the same thing?
No, it's different because it's kind of like because he needs help, he's kind of like jumping the line.
Oh, okay.
So I still want the winner to have the choice, the preference. And because he needs assistance, which is fine. You know, we talked about it on the scammer video. I'm cool with helping people out. I'm planning on using discernment. Everybody ain't gonna be able to be helped, but whatever.
Okay, I was just trying to figure
Right.
out what was being given away versus how you win, and is that not given away too?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Boom.
I was wondering.
I'm even in a situation where I have the old Big Blue because they replaced the Big Blue because I had an issue with that one. It feels like I have the same issue with the new Big Blue. I'm going to email them and see if they actually want it back because what they said was, yeah, we'll send it out to you and then we'll send you a prepaid label to send it back. So I need to follow up with the guy to see if he actually wants it back. If he doesn't want it back, I may use it. I don't like using these devices that are single-use devices because that one, I have to do some testing, right? Because what may be happening is, and this is kind of what I'm doing in the video that I'm trying to compile. I haven't started yet, but I put the footage together as it relates to the issue with the Big Blue. I think what may be happening is just the screen is bad. The screen is wrong. It's not calibrated properly or something. So maybe even if I plug it into solar or AC and it's dead, we know it's dead. Y'all know I usually do these devices until they turn off for the most part. You plug it in and then it says 99% charged on the screen. So maybe I just need to put it on solar and just let it rock out. Don't assume anything. Just put it on solar for the whole day and it should get about 400 or 500 watts, especially on a sunny day. That should be relatively straightforward. And then just assume it has that power in it. But I don't necessarily want to be bothered with that. I deal with it because I'm kind of figuring out my system and working with what I have. But this is kind of what I mean in terms of like, even though I have so many devices, I don't really have the ideal device or two to kind of rule that category. Because if I had the ideal device, one or two 300 watt hours, maybe three. And then I don't have that many. I don't think I have that many. Then I can start letting devices go. The 500 watt hour ones, I have we got the Mylan, we got the Ctech, we got the Big Blue, we got the Oupes. I don't count my EV70 and my Ecoflow because those are like staples in my system. I'm talking about these like extra things. What else? And then newly we have the R500. But all those devices have outside of the R500, and it could have its caveats. All of them have caveats. They have asterisks next to them. All right, let me see what y'all snapping and trapping about. I've been talking. Women be shopping. Women be shopping. Yeah, my little Ctech died. It did the same thing that the first one did. I was charging it from USB, and it blipped for a second, and then it hasn't turned back on. I tried the 12-volt adapter. I tried the AC adapter. I tried USB-C multiple times. Nothing. So, Birdman, put them power stations in the trash can. I emailed them today, like before I jumped on the live, maybe about a half hour before. I emailed the person I talked to for Ctech. That 60 watt charge rate on a bunch of these power stations is whack. I hate it. Yeah, it was kind of good when you first started. You know what I mean? It's like 60 watts. Oh, that's cool. Especially with Jackery charging at like what 45. 60 watts was decent. You know what I mean? It was like that was an improvement, but it needs to be at least 100. At least 85. I could live with. You know what I mean? Against a 300 watt hour capacity joint, but 60 just it takes forever. It takes all day to get that thing charged up, and it's like, man, not a fan. Okay, we talked about that. I must clarify about boiling the water all the time. I was talking about water from a creek or stream even before you use the straw or other power portable outdoor systems. I gotcha. GT, am new to this. What's best to get? It depends on your needs. Jasonoid, what's happening? My Oupes 600 just died. Wow. DC output error. Like, you mean died? Not working at all? Won't charge? I'm trying to understand what you mean by died. That's crazy. Daywell Fisher, what's going on, bro? Always good to see you. I feel like, do your research and then save up for what you want. Maybe get something that's entry level to kind of get your feet wet. I have a video that I did for best budget power station, I believe. Kind of look at that video, and it'll be about 200, 250, maybe 280 bucks. But I feel like you're gonna want to buy another one, that's for sure. So one may posit that you may want to just save up your coins and get something that's nicer. But I have a power station, a solar power for beginners playlist. If you're new to it, you may want to watch that playlist. I'll see if I can drop it here. Give me a second. Playlist. Oh, I actually went back while I do that. I went back to Jehu's video about his 12-volt extra battery dips because what I noticed. Let me get this playlist. Let's see. Edit. Share. Post. Oh, the DC output no longer works. I got you. Thanks for that clarity. What do I call this? Portable. Oh man, I could have put a space in that. God dog it. There we go. That's better. Nope, it's not better. It clumped it all together again. Son of a YouTube. That looks stupid. This is gonna bother me, so I'm gonna fix it. So Matthew, I just got the AC200P yesterday. The refurbished one, or did you get a new one? And what are your thoughts? Okay, so what I was saying is I recently went back and revisited Jehu's videos about, adding extra battery capacity to your power station. As I mentioned before, he did one for the Ecoflow, and it was one that was, 12 volt instead of these 24, 36, 48 volt batteries that he does for these systems, because those bigger systems need the higher voltage, whatever, or the bigger battery capacity requires a higher voltage, whatever. But in that video that he did for the Ecoflow, he actually responded to my comment. I didn't know that, because you have to, in order to get notifications for replies, you have to go in and tell YouTube to notify you that you got a reply. Otherwise, it won't. So I did that recently, like in the last 5 months or so. But he responded because I asked him how many amps could those batteries take, and he said 5 amps. But he also had a charger. He didn't recommend, but he mentioned a charger to charge those batteries. And it was a 12 volt charger, an AC charger, but at 12 volts or 18 volts or something like that. But it was 2 amps. I was just just to make it plain, 18 volts times 2 amps is what, 36 watts? You're going to charge an extra battery. He had 3 of those batteries to supplement power into the Ecoflow River, the R600 or whatever. He had 3 of those batteries, and the charger that he mentioned in the video was a 2-hour charger. Now, he did say you could get a bigger charger. I'm not saying he suggested that one, but it just seems like 36 watts against those batteries just would take forever. It's almost not worth it. But the reason why I said all that is because my understanding is this Oukitel has an XT60 output port on it. And my brain got to going oh, interesting, because a lot of Jehu's batteries use XT60 or XT90. So if you could use the Oukitel, another company has something that's coming out that's kind of similar to the Oukitel, but it has the XT60 port on it all as well. The XT60 output, not input, like on the Ecoflow and the Delta products or whatever, the River and Delta products. It has an output port. So I was thinking about, and that dip was rated at 12 volts at 10 amps, right? So if you create a battery situation that could take in 12 volts at 10 amps, that's 120 some odd watts. Not a lot of power, but it's better than 36 or 50 or whatever. Now, those batteries that he mentioned, they maxed out at 5 amps. So 12 volts times 5, what's that? I don't know, 10 times 50 is, I don't know. I don't want to math. 50, 10 times 5. It's about 72 watts or something like that. So I just find that incredibly interesting, because my thing was, I'm not going to add these extra batteries to extend the power of my power station. And really all they're going to put in is 120 watts, which is fine. I can live with that. We don't use a whole lot of power on these smaller power stations, or maybe even on the bigger power stations. And any power coming in is helpful, right? But if I got to charge it at 36 watts or 12 watts or 50 watts, and that particular battery set is 3 of those batteries providing you with what? I don't know what they are, but let's just say they are 200 watts a piece, 150 watts a piece. That's going to take forever to charge that. It's almost not worth it. Almost. I'm not saying it is, but it's just, I don't want it to charge slow. So if you could get that XT60 connector to work to charge those batteries at about 100 and some odd watts, that's more feasible, because even if you put 500 watt hours of extra battery on any of your devices, you can charge that up in a day, right? Right. It's new and you're still testing it. I dig it. Paired with an XStar panel. Yeah, I put the XStar panel on the first edition of the Oupes, and it was it charged for a little bit and then it stopped, and it did what the ultimate issue was. So I'm in a situation where I have a bunch of power stations, right? But not a lot of them can charge from a 100-watt panel. So I find myself kind of stuck. The Big Blue can charge from up to 100 watts. The Ctech can charge from up to 100 watts, but it has a non-standard port. I hate non-standard ports. The Mylan charges weird from solar, so that's kind of not a good option. And the Oukitel, I just literally figured out the connection that it'll take, so that may put it on my options of being able to charge it from solar, right? So that could help out, and that could also delay me giving it away. But it may pull the smartless into the running, because the smartless, even though it can dual charge 60 watts and whatever, it'll charge at like 110 watts or whatever it is. It doesn't have a great display screen. It shows you output, but it doesn't show you input. And it's lithium ion, but all of the Mylan and the Oukitel lithium ion. So it's kind of like, I know one of them's definitely going away, maybe two, maybe. I think I have about like 19 power stations now. I think so. Yeah. I like that the AC charges fast. 500 watts, yeah, that's a good look. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, well, let me see what Jasonoid is talking about. Sorry to clarify, the DC output no longer works. E01 error on the screen with a red triangle. It charges and the AC inverter works, but the DC power won't turn on. That's interesting. I commented on Hobotech's video, just kind of like talking about the issues that I was having. He had the bigger Oupes, and I hope that it's more reliable. I hope, you know what I mean? That's interesting. Sometimes these power stations act weird on me when I try to charge stuff from USB-C. Oh, let me give you a quick update. I can't show you right now, but I bought a USB-C to XT60 connector for charging my Ecoflow. The cable was too short. I was thinking about returning it, but it was only $8. So I was just like, I'm gonna just keep it because it is a cool option. The problem for me with that cable being short is my Ecoflow is kind of recessed behind my TV. It's still accessible, but my TV is like right here. Y'all see videos how the Ecoflow is in a little cut. So putting a power station close enough to it to put into its USB-C port, I gotta like be really intentional. So what I did was, do I have one around here? Is it in my couch? Is it in my couch? It is not. Where is it? All right, my bad. It's somewhere around here. It could be just right. Oh, it is right here in front of me. Let's see here. I'll make this work without dropping my stuff on the floor. So this is a USB-C to USB-C cable. I bought a USB-C coupler. It came to me like, I wonder if they have USB-C couplers, because you can find all types of couplers for things to extend cables and all that jazz. So what I can do is I can put this on here and then put the USB-C to XT60 connector into this, and then that gives me more range to plug it into it. And it gets about 45 watts. It pulls about 60, but I think that USB-C to XT60 probably has something in it that uses a low power to like regulate it, so you don't get the full power, which gets me to wondering if I need to bother with it in the first place, because I could probably just go AC for the loss. I think I was seeing like 57 watts going out and then 50 watts going in. I didn't feel like mathing in the moment, so I was just like, oh, what is that? What percentage of power loss is that? But then I moved on with my life. But yeah, I bought two of these for like $8. So I got this coupler, and I need to test it to make sure that what are you peeking out for? Huh? these little USB-C couplers. So I need to test it. I need to raise my Ecoflow's amp limit higher to see how much power I can push through that cable and that adapter and the USB-C to Ecoflow, the USB-C to XT60. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But right now my Ecoflow is at 6 amps. It limits it to about 60 watts. So, and that's because I don't want to burn up any more cables trying to charge it from 12 volt. Good. Nice. Thank you. It's great that you are testing these solar generators long term for durability testing. No point in having a long life battery, and if the electronics fail, that's the point we all wonder, right? Life will last forever, but will the stuff around it last? The GoLabs i200 comes with a measly 45 watt AC adapter, but using another adapter, I found that it can take the 72 watts. Yeah, you were telling me that. Thanks for sharing that with the group. What's good? Got my AC power 100 watt solar panel. Look out for the short test. I got you with the EV120. The AC power panel was like an $85 panel that had a coupon on it that brought it down to like $65. I didn't have time to share it, honestly. Sometimes I don't share deals that people share with me. Sometimes I do. Okay. Dang, no new comments. Am I tripping? My stuff all messed up. Okay, cool. Hopefully y'all still with me. So I'm figuring stuff out still. I actually, speaking of the Ctech, this is how I organize for all these power stations. This is the Ctech bag with all of its cables in it. So I had to go grab that to test it to make sure it wasn't working. And then this is my Big Blue solar panel dip, which is what these come from. Now the native connection on the Big Blue solar panel, I still need to do a video on that. Thank you, Jasonoid and MJ. The like I said, these things are 5525. But I wanted to try this because I know I had already tried my, I think this is my Agwe. This is why I couldn't send the adapters with the Agwe. Look at how many I have missing from this thing. I'll be using this dip. I think this one gets used on a smart list because it's a non-standard adapter. That's another reason why I'm not favorable of that. But you can charge it over USB-C. This is probably the 8mm, which is used somewhere on either my jackery or down in my basement to get power into a Oupes. This is probably 5525 that's missing here, and then something else. That's probably this green one right here. So that's why I couldn't give the tips away, man. I'd be using these tips. But none of those fit. Now, the green one here is the same looking one as the green one here, which is 5525. So I'm going to have to try this one again, because maybe that's the missing link to be able to use the Oukitel with solar and 5521. This is a 5521 cable, and I would just adapt it, and then I could dump power into the, because right now the Oukitel, I have to charge it from AC, and that sucks. I hate charging it from AC, but that's all I got. So I have to put this back in here and put it back in my storage bin. Oh, you know what else? I thought about this idea, right? You know, I got the AC200P. For however that works out, it is what it is. But I could take that. I wish Prepping on the Creek was around, because I feel like he talked about this in one of his videos. I have two 200-watt chargers, one for my EB70, and then I have one for my AC, my EB150. I thought about using those to charge the, I can't use the, what's the whatchamacallit rated at, the EB70. I don't think I'll be able to use the EB70. I think I'm gonna have to use the EB120. I thought about using that power brick to charge the ACP, the AC200P, because then I'm not limited to only being able to use 500 watt inverter power stations to power dump into it, right? So here's the theory. You know what I mean? You have all these power stations. I hope y'all saw Jasonoid's video about his daisy chaining one. He went through like various scenarios. You have these situations where, of course, your biggest power station is your biggest asset because it typically has the bigger inverter and the bigger watt hour capacity. So if anything was to ever happen, or if I'm trying to run my house on steady power from a power station, or let's say I have a transfer switch, I'm not limited to my 500 watt capable power stations if I use that EB120's adapter, which is rated at like 267 or something like that. I could, in theory, use the Energizer to dump its 300 watt hours into it. I could use the Ecoflow is fine anyway because it goes up to 600 watts, so it's good money. It's a dope feeling to take a 500 watt capable power station and then put that power into the AC200P. It's a good look. What? Oh, okay.
I'll let them finish watching this episode and then send them.
Oh, nice. Oh man, now what's happening with you? You knocking them heads off too? You do what a player do? You had sex with the Rose shampoo? You know who that is?
I have no idea.
Jude the Great.
I like you.
What? Oh yeah, I got it for 71 out the door. Nice. Okay, so in this situation, I could use
solar stuff.
I could use a bunch of my power stations to dump power into the AC200P. The only thing I'm not sure of is I have to be sure that I could use that EB120 adapter with the AC200P because I don't like to break stuff. I like to be sure about stuff before I try, but I feel like it should be good. I think it's rated at 50 something volts as well. My understanding is that you can kind of go under the volts of a device, but you got to be careful with that as well. But sometimes you can damage certain things by putting more volts into it than it needs.
Do what needs to be done.
Right. So I have to kind of get into that a little bit. I have to look into those power bricks and kind of compare them. I also have the second power brick from them, but it's only like a little bit lower. It's not 8 amps, it's 7 amps. So, you know, you lose like what, 12 watts maybe, or whatever. I don't care.
What y'all doing on a Saturday night?
They hanging out with me. You feel me? What's up, brother Dwayne? Good to see you. With the Jew, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm out here in these streets.
Probably knew it automatically. Like, I know who that is.
All top. Oh man. How much was the refurbished one? Should I even tell you, Matthew? I don't think you want to know, fam. If you bought it new, you may not want to know that it cost me less than $700. It costs a bunch of people less than $700, and most people got the devices, and their devices were fine. I feel like I'm the only one who got jerked around. What are you gonna do? I still need to get my panel fixed. A local viewer of mine offered me to borrow his tool. I thought about just taking a panel like with me wherever we meet up, and then just doing it there, because I think he said he has some replacement MC4 connectors as well. But then I got somebody who knows how to do it, so I don't have to like be committing myself to really learn it. I get to sit there and kind of like, oh yeah, do this, untwist that, blah, 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 crimp it, good to go. I still need to test the Boujar V180 watt panel. I'm kind of, when I talk about how I have these power stations and I don't like putting these power stations, pulling them off of their designated spot, because all of my 200 watt capable devices are in use, and I hate pulling them away. I hate it. And that would be the Ecoflow, the EB70, the Bull Bat, which is kind of sort of 200 watts, and the EB120. and they're all in use. Everything else is 100 watts. What good is it hooking up a 200-watt panel to a 100-watt device for testing? That's useless. And then what good is it using the EB70, because the EB70 has the 8 amp input limit? So I'm gonna have to use the Ecoflow or the EB120. If I had the solar cables for the AC200P, I could have the EB120 available, and then my AC200P would be rocking out on the 320-watt panel. But alas, I don't. Hey, Darlene, what's happening? I know, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to tell you. So you got the AC200P probably for like $1,500, because I know it's been on sale like $100 off. But listen, you got a nice device, and it's new.
Brand new.
I'm just trying to help you feel better. You know what I mean? Listen, some people, peace of mind is more important. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people, but I tip my hat to y'all. I do. Oh, listen. If there's anybody in here who's kind of like creeping and laying low, I need y'all to start commenting, because what I'm trying to do, I don't want to limit the giveaways to the lives, because I feel like that's kind of unfair to people who, one, can't catch the live, two, who don't like live streams. I don't know how many more options there are, but I want to be able to start recognizing names. That way, when I pick a winner, I can see your name, like, oh yeah, I see them comment. So if you're in the cut, just say what up. You know what I mean? If you haven't commented anything yet. Actually, don't say anything. You don't say anything about what I'm about to do, okay? Okay. What's the other person? Okay, cool. I like this.
Yeah.
It actually works. That whole theory is an inside thing between me and the missus. So then you should be able to, and then you know what's popping. You feel me? Yeah. Off top. Oh gosh. Does anybody have any questions about any of the stuff I just shared? I feel like I said a lot. My wife's a hater. Straight up hater. What's happening? What's happening, Mark? Indiana Jackson creeping.
I know. I was thinking like, ain't nobody creeping.
Brandon K creeping. What's happening, Mad Call? What does that say?
But I see what you mean as far as like names and being able to kind of recognize.
Is that Eric? Ousley? I'm cooling, man. I'm cooling. Enrique. Nah, man, we just hanging out. Ain't nothing going on. What's going on in your world? Oh, somebody sent me a message.
I'm waiting to hear squirrel. I'm just pending. I'm ready to put these kids up. So.
Oh, how long is left on the dip? Oh yeah, you got a minute. That's half an episode.
No, it's only 13-minute episode.
Yeah, it's like that's still. It's not almost done. You got a whole another 7 minutes.
I think we got started on.
Does it do like the 7 minute split, or is it a whole episode?
I don't know. What time is it?
10:30.
I think we just gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all comfortable under their blanket.
I feel like let them rock out. Just let them rock out.
Oh, that's so cool. Like two of the kids was like fighting over a short blanket, and so the oldest one, he gets up and gets the super duper long blanket, and now all of them are up under it. That's cool.
Let me tell you something about who that. I used to give Saints fan. I'm not a Saints fan. I gave it up a long time ago. Even then, I was a casual fan. I just got tired of them losing. As no smart person should be into sports like that. I just couldn't do it. So, but when the Saints,
so you saying all other people are stupid?
I think LeBron James said it best
What?
when he was like, "Listen, at the end of the day, after these games is over, you got to go back to your life." It's just like I don't think being into sports franchises is
being a sports fan.
it's weird. I have my feelings about it.
Nah, but he ain't not an athlete though. He ain't never played a sport. He don't know nothing
Nope.
about it.
So you know what I mean? It's like I feel like that's even the more. What did they say? It was even the more reason. Even the more reason why I'm objective, because I'm outside of it. I look at it with a rational mind. Y'all don't.
You'd be objective if you was a part of it at one point and then no longer.
No, I can critique stuff I'm a part of, and you know that.
Whatever, babe.
Yeah, you don't want to give me my flowers while I'm alive.
Whatever.
When I'm dead, you're gonna be like, he was so reasonable.
I don't know why I like the Saints fans. I guess I kind of feel bad because he's such not a Saints fan. Because I'm a Steelers fan by nature because, Pittsburgh is just Pittsburgh. It's like when you're born and raised in Pittsburgh, it's just in your blood. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a diehard Steelers fan, but there are diehard Steelers fans. Like the city shuts down. You know what I mean? So because we're like that, or because, me specifically, I feel bad for New Orleans, and I think I'm a little bit of a Saints fan because of him. It's like I'm overcompensating, basically.
Listen, Saints fans there used to be a thing where they would say who that, and then their response would be we that. And I'm so glad that stupid saying went away, because it's like y'all do know that the thing was who that said they're gonna beat them Saints, and then y'all clowns are saying we that, and it's like, yeah, that's true. Y'all are the people beating yourselves because you suck. So I'm glad y'all don't say we that no more. See, she want to be like hyper reasonable because I said it. That's a stupid saying. # tutors.
It's like y'all talk funny, like, period. So it's not.
Man, get out of here.
Like y'all say a lot of like weird things. I mean, and it's cool. So.
Dwight, what's happening? I'm new to solar and I need to know where to start. Start with my playlist right here. That's where you need to start. Just get all the.
Why you just have that on your?
Because I just sent it to somebody. Somebody earlier was like, I don't know what to buy.
Oh, that's what's up. Look at you.
What you? You know what I mean?
Oh,
I lost interest in the National Felons League. What does that mean, Joe? That feels a little racist.
No, I
don't even think I know who won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we never know who wins the Super Bowl unless the Steelers are in it. It's like,
That feels just a smidge disparaging towards people of color. I know you say you weren't raised that way, but sometimes the stuff is built in.
If you don't actively, if you're not anti, if you don't like actively pursue not being.
I imagine Joe being like, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go with it.
Oh man, I don't even think. Okay, I got you. What's up, Johnny Canuck? It's been a minute, man. We be hanging out on Instagram and stuff together.
That's true. It's a good point. At least you have a trophy, but he ain't got a trophy because he ain't. Even then, he was.
Listen,
were you happy when they won?
I was happy
like
for
right
fans.
Katrina.
Yeah,
he was
I was
homeless
happy
after Katrina. As a result of Katrina, I would have felt like a sense of that. Man, that timing was like perfect. I feel like, man, the city so needed that.
The city did need that. I was glad for Saints fans that they won that Super Bowl after all that stuff happened. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it was a bit of a pity win. I mean, y'all earned it. I just feel like stuff aligned, and I'm happy for that.
Really?
I am. I don't care, but I'm happy that people who've been fans for a long time. It's like, listen, I remember when the Saints had to rely on a kicker to win. It's like, how pitiful do you have to be? And I don't mean once. Like every freaking Sunday, it was like Morten Andersen. Is he gonna save the game and win the field? It's just like, man, who got time for that? I don't have time for that.
I was gonna say every play.
Thanks for me. Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I dig that.
There's a lot of man.
That's what's up. All right.
What? All right, it's over now.
Won against my Colts. The Lions did too. Whatever.
They sure wasn't going to say nothing.
Of course not. He lost 30 minutes of his screen time the other day because he let it keep rolling.
All right, let's go.
Jasonoid, I had a question for you. Jasonoid, I do have a question for you. What's your top 5 songs of all time? Songs that, like, when they come on, you're not skipping, that you're listening. I need to know your top 5 songs of all time. Good luck thinking of that. It's a tough one for most people. The Lions did too. I'm off for the night. Have a good night. Ah, just when I asked him the question, you got to dip. Trying to get prepared for hurricane season. I ain't mad at that. Jeez. Man, I hope hurricane season don't, like. Good night, man. Love you. I love you too, buddy.
Oh, you
What was that?
I'm just saying bye.
You saying bye? Everybody love you. Have a good night.
Bye.
You good?
Okay, I give
Okay,
a
nice.
hug? Can I give a hug?
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mama. Bye bye.
Come on, let's go upstairs.
Y'all have a good night.
Then you'll have to go down.
Let's see. All right. The missus says she's gonna come back when she puts the kids down. But I don't know if I have anything else to talk about. Y'all got any questions? Oh, I did watch the EP500 Pro video from Hobotech. It was interesting. You know what I mean? I watched Will Prowse's video about the clone LV whatever 88. That was interesting as well. I actually, yeah, I did. There were, I wasn't moved by it. It's too much coin for me. I'm waiting to hear back from a company or two about power stations. It's the weekend, so I kind of gotta wait until like Sunday night to hear back from them. Yeah, I'm not trying to move anywhere where there's hurricanes. I thought about the Carolinas and stuff like that, but the hurricanes be coming up that eastern seaboard, whatever they call it. Like, no, I'm good on all that. And I'm not moving anywhere with no freaking tornadoes. It's like, dude. And I'm not, yeah. I could deal with the snow. Like, Pittsburgh snow is like normal. DC snow is like normal. I imagine Philly snow is even like normal. It's when you start getting like up to Erie and Chicago and Cleveland and New York, and you know what I mean? It's like I don't want that weird snow. I feel like we're doing good down here, like in the DC, kind of whatever. I was actually thinking about Nashville, but as I mentioned before, I don't want to go to another like event city. I lived in New Orleans for all my life, so I'm not trying to be a part of that kind of scene anymore, where all these people are coming and getting in my way. Did you give your top 5 songs? I can. What in refurb? What is refurb? Is good quality? I'm not sure I follow that. Hey, what's up, sleeper? Sleeper. I mean, yeah, it's probably 4 o'clock in the morning there. My top five. These are songs. How I qualify my top 5 is the songs that I enjoy very much, and that typically, if they play on my iPhone or iPod when it was an iPod, I don't skip. And it kind of ebbs and flows, but man, dang, this is tough. Okay, so typically what my top 5 is, it's like Yearning for Your Love, the Gap Band. You Got Me by the Roots. Liberation by Outkast. It used to be Quiet Storm by Smokey Robinson, but I kind of don't listen to that one as much. Sometimes Breathe by Fabulous is in there. And I'm gonna have to say at this point in time, Superstar by Luther. Those are songs that, like, man, when they come on, I'm listening. And, you know, Outstanding by the Gap Band gets like honorable mention too, because that's a jam for me as well. What's up, Alpha? What's happening? Check out Chattanooga. Okay. I ain't even gonna tell you what my first thought was. Refurbished solar power stations. Okay, what was your first part of your question? I think you were asking, is refurb good quality? So people who got the AC200P, they were saying like it definitely wasn't new, but you know, it was in good condition. They got the cables and stuff like that, unlike myself. Some people have talked about the EB70 being like looking brand new when they buy it off of AliExpress. B3 Outdoors bought a couple of them off there. But you know, refurb is used, and you know, you just kind of, which is fine. You know, I'm not a fan of new cars. I'd rather buy a used car because the people who buy the new stuff pay all the coins, and then I could get it at a reduced price. I'm a fan of buying used phones for the same reason. It's like y'all be paying like a stack 1,200, you know, 800 for a phone that in 18 months I could get it for like probably 250. So I'll let people do that. The Eagles, I imagine you're saying Hotel California.
Oh, 4 a.m.
Wait, where you saw that?
I said, yes, nearly 4 a.m.
Yeah, they're like 6 hours ahead. He be on here like, what I usually do mine at 6:15, so it'd be like 11 something his time. He's hanging out.
That's cool.
I think this is one of my brother's favorite songs. I may have listened to it once, but I wasn't moved. I'll have to go and listen to it again. Somebody give me some top fives. I want some top fives. I asked Jasonoid because I very often like asking my Caucasian brothers and sisters what are their popular songs, because I'm not tuned into that music. Have I ever asked you what your top 5 songs are?
Mm-hmm.
Did you come up with some? It was like all gospel music, huh?
Probably at one point in time. You've asked me multiple times, and they always change. They always evolve. It's hard to come up with my top 5 favorite songs because depending on, you know, what season of life I was in, you know what I mean? Because you know, music is a time capsule. So
for you, it's not so much for me, but it has that impact. Like I feel like you don't be rocking with Sade at all, because you don't, that period you was just like charged.
Was, interesting.
So I can't listen to no Sade.
Yeah, life
you know what I mean?
Interesting. One Sade, when I was rocking with Sade, because I was rocking with her, and I was rocking with her to help me through, you know, that time in my life. It was just like, oh, so
cruising. Cruising that's a smooth groove right there.
Buddy.
That's a smooth groove right there. I ain't mad at that. Hey, Jessica Rabbit. All right, come on now. Your mother's daughter.
Yeah, my mom is an oldies but goodies. She's an oldies but goodies head. That's all she ever listened to, and that's all she ever listens to. So
I'm looking forward to checking these out to see what your musical tastes are like. Joe tried. She did the same for me. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and she's dope. Like it's like her music is beautiful. It's just I just remember what it was for me.
This will be the casual portion of the live stream.
Actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Spaniel's Good Night, Sweetheart. Interesting. That's interesting. Ohio Players Love Roller Coaster. That does not ring a bell. I feel like it should.
See, and sometimes songs where I'm about to go get my phone. I just start typing them in YouTube. Like Love Roller Coaster, it feels like it's on the tip of my brain.
Yeah, same here. It feels like that should be familiar. Oh my gosh. All right. Like I said, this is the casual portion of the live stream. So if you got solar questions, still ask them, but we probably won't be talking about much solar during this dip. Let's see. Interesting.
Which I like. I like how like when a solar question pops up in the midst of all the other like non-solar topics, you spend time go right back into solar like so easily. So I really think that's cool.
That's interesting. Y'all giving me one song at a time, man. What y'all doing? They were officially say y'all are the cutest East Coast couple. Thank y'all for being so genuine. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you. Okay, let's see what my brother Dwayne Muhammad. I only have 3 for now. As by Stevie Wonder. Umi's a good one. That's a good one. Man, A Sentimental Mood is a good song. I naturally like that song, and by chance, we danced to that song at our vow renewal ceremony. Like just super random. My wife did like an excellent job coordinating everything and all that jazz.
We had a live band.
And the live band played that song.
Yeah, we was like, somebody was like, yeah, you want to do your first dance? Because, it's like, oh, sure, of course, why not? And we didn't know what song to pick, you know what I mean? And so we just left it up to the band. And that's what they came up with. It was like, ooh, it was sexy. It was. We have a picture that captures like that moment too. It was just, man, that night was just a beautiful night.
I'm not into crypto or NFTs. NFTs feel weird.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about. I can't say I know much about it. I actually just got back. I just got into the stock market. Like maybe it's been about 2 months, and I started off with public.com, and since they offer, I was like, all right, sure, why not? So I'm only playing with like just a few $100. Just to kind of get my feet wet. And I just listened to a documentary or watched a documentary on, I think it was Prime, about cryptocurrency. And it was like really informative. Like it was really informative, so it was like, that's like all I know though. I haven't really spent much time like really getting into it, especially since like, I don't understand it the way I want to. The best girl power.
She's all into this foolishness because she's a racist. Oh, Joe Try says the crypto know when the grid goes down, it's gone. That's a fair point.
If it goes down, or you feel like it's inevitable.
Something has to replace the failing dollar. Interesting. Very interesting. Knee Deep Parliament. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Rare Earth Get Ready. Interesting. Billy Strange. Like, are these like good songs? Are these your top 5? Or are you just trying to share good songs? What you listening to?
Ohio Players Roller Coaster.
Let me see. Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna give you that because I feel like it's about like songs you never skip and all that jazz, but that doesn't strike me as a good song, MJ.
Yeah. Well, it's an oldie but goodie, and it's like man, if you have,
it's like
when you listen to it, you can't help but.
It's like it's a fun song. That's cool. That don't make it
like
a dope
from Earth, Wind,
song.
and Fire. It's like it's along those. You know what I mean?
But that's your top 5. I respect that. I do.
Do you?
I do. But I like dope songs though. Like my.
So what are some of your top 5?
I gave them already. You was around here taking care of children and stuff. Like what was you doing? You should have been around.
So what were some of them?
I started off with "Yearning for Your Love" by the Gap Band.
See, it's in the same line as
"Yearning" is a dope song though. Like musically, vocally, it's a groove. Like, come on, man. All right. Let's relax. Let's relax.
I swear, God knew not to gift me the gift of singing, because, what else? So
Interesting.
What?
Aretha Franklin, A Rose. Is that the newer one? Is that a older song? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm into Bitcoin. It's going to replace the dollar.
Okay.
Can you imagine is there a reasonable situation by which Bitcoin replaces the dollar? Like, what has to happen in order for Bitcoin to be the currency that the United States adopts? Like, is there going to have to be a collapse and then Bitcoin is going to be the look? I don't see this. I don't have the outlook on what this is going to look like. That's right. You're right. I am young. That's for sure. I'll take that.
So yearning.
Oh, it was yearning. I mentioned that in days gone by, it would be Quiet Storm by Smokey Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Is Liberation by Outkast.
Mm-hmm.
You Got Me by The Roots.
Mm-hmm.
And usually Breathe by Fabulous is in there.
Oh, okay.
I like always listen to that. I never skipped. I very rarely skip Breathe by Fabulous. That beat just like goes. It's just
I can't pick a top 5. Like, I can give you some of my favorite artists. You know what I mean? Like, who I feel like are timeless. Like, I feel like Lauryn Hill is by far one of my absolute favorites because of her ability as far as being an MC and singing, her style. I mean, everything. I love everything about Lauryn Hill. I love Outkast. Now that's what I was thinking. Being able to control it.
like, how do you get to a point where you take something that can literally be created just by computers and it becomes a viable currency in the world? I mean, like, where that's it. I don't really see that. I'm no crypto expert, but I'm a crypto like loser. But I just don't see that. Like, how? Yeah, that's tough. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest.
It's like it's just so much, especially if you've lived long enough.
Hey, Young Americans. Music. Young Americans is a groove.
David Bowie.
Yeah. It's like a like you talked about the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those kind of songs. Natalie Cole, Unforgettable, Little Red Corvette, The Beach Boys, Radar Love, Don't Know. Okay, interesting. Atlas. Yeah, people love Atlas.
Yeah, there's something so soul stirring with that song, especially when, of course, the original. I don't know who the original chick is that's saying it, but when you get someone who can also sing it too in the same way.
These are Wayne's picks.
Mm-hmm.
Friends by Houdini, Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang, Lady by Kenny Rogers, Hallelujah by Pentatonics. Now, I feel like, is Hallelujah that really like somber song? There's a version that I heard by there's a song, Hallelujah. There's a song. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but there's a version of it by Justin Timberlake that is really good. But it's like a super somber song. I'm into like emotionally driven songs as well. Emotionally charged songs. I wish I could figure out a word. Some people talk about ballads, but I don't know if ballads is what I'm describing. Like
Yeah, he's against 90s R&B.
who started talking about 90s R&B?
Me.
Where did that come from? I don't understand.
Ballads. When you start talking about ballads, it makes me think of
Oh,
R&B and
it
just
makes
how
you think of
everything's-
90s R&B. I
It-
feel like no, I don't know no 90s songs that qualify as
No,
ballads.
it made me think
Oh,
of
okay, yeah.
when you said ballads, it made me think of like R&B and how like Boys and Men, like man, I feel like for me, Boys to Men is one of, if not the best singing groups like ever.
Interesting. I mean, Boyz II Men are just some talented dudes. Well.
Right.
What? You still reading?
Okay, good.
I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
Interesting. That was right there so much. Anything by Bob Marley gets full play. I ain't mad at that. I dig it. What's this? Hey, real talk. I think you should something to Mylan. I got 2 for Peep the Mylan. I got 2 for $254 each a year ago. They are the truth. They something. I don't know if I would call them the truth. I have a Mylan. I don't know if you knew that, Historic Publishing. I have a video about the solar charging on it being weird, which resulted in them giving me half my money back. And then I was like, you know what? I'm really not feeling this purchase. Can I just have all my money back? Because what I would have done is I probably would have just gave it away. And if I gave it away, I like spent my own money on that. So now I'm taking an L. You know what I mean? Even though, as I talked about in the scammer video, when I give power stations away, I'm giving away my compensation from these companies because that's what it is.
I feel different about that.
Yeah,
A little bit.
you feel wrong. That's what you feel. Thanks. I have a definite top 5 is Gordon Lightfoot, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Interesting. I'm gonna look forward to checking out all of these.
Yeah.
Anita Baker, Hallelujah was on the Haiti fundraiser album during the earthquake. Okay, cool. So that was probably the Justin Timberlake dip. Actually, a white colleague of mine asked me to get a version of the song for her because she was like, man, I love that song. I can never find it. And I was like, oh, let me get it real quick. And then I sent it to her. She was like, so appreciative.
Yeah.
The one, don't say it, but the person who dad fixed our garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was all private.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Boys and Men, man.
They are, but it's like I'm not really a fan of music. I'm not really a fan of artists. I'm a fan of dope songs. Like my taste is just like I like a dope song. I'm not. I love iPhone and iPods and all that. I had like the first generation iPod when it came out. It was like $400. It was a lot of money.
Yeah, especially with what you was making back
I know,
then.
right? $5, $5.15. It was a lot of coin. I go through music and then I uncheck on iTunes. There's a way to sync only check songs. I'll go through and I'll listen to an album and I uncheck songs I don't like so that I can listen to all my music on shuffle. And then I just play. That's how I listen to music. I listen to music on shuffle. I go next. Oh, okay, this is dope. That's how I know what my favorite songs are because when I'm going through all my library on shuffle, I stop on those certain songs and I always listen to them.
That's why whenever we went on road trips, whenever you were the one driving and of course you get DJ, I enjoyed his playlist. Only thing I didn't like was how he would have gospel music mixed in with everything. And I'm like, nah, we can't go from Juvenile to,
Brum,
like, what's his name?
brum.
I give myself away. Like, that just don't go. Like, I don't know, there's just something to me where I just feel like when I'm in a space of listening to like worship music or praise music or anything that's gospel, like I have to be in that space. Like you can't inject nothing else into that space. Not even like jazz. You know what I mean? I don't want to listen to nothing but songs that are literally talking to or talking about Jesus. So you're not going outside of that.
Wait. Let me tell you something. A song you missed is Superstar by Luther Vandross. It's like that wasn't ever in my top 5, but that song is freaking incredible. I love that song. I ain't gonna sing it. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to listen to it because I can't disrespect Luther like that. Especially not in front of all these people.
30.
So Luther Vandross, Superstar is a dope song. There was another song that came to mind. Yeah, I don't know. 2% asked, what do I consider a dope song?
Yeah, like dope, all caps. Like what's like a just
Like-
straight up?
Dope.
Yeah. What would you say?
Oh, this song, man, I of course heard it, but I've been listening to it a lot lately.
What?
I'm about to say it. All right, Hillary,
I feel like give it
please.
to us and then give us all the extra stuff.
That's funny because I was when we was watching like the debates between Obama and Hillary. Obama would answer the question first. No, he would. I think he would answer the question first and then elaborate, and Hillary would elaborate and then answer the question. It's just like, shut up, just tell me the answer. But I have to give disclaimers. But it's "There You Go" from the Boomerang soundtrack. I listen to that song on repeat. Like I could listen to that song like 5 times in a row before I move on. I think it's a dope song. It's "There You Go" by Johnny Gill.
Oh,
That's not it. 90s R&B foolishness. I think that came out a little little later. You have to like Lionel Richie. You are. I don't know if I've heard that. I'm not a big Lionel. I mean, Easy is cool. You could tell you're a fun one, MJ. It's a roller coaster. You just want to have fun and be dancing while roller skating and stuff. Yeah, I'm not big into albums either. What you listen to?
There you go.
Oh, okay. I listen to that
Toni
song.
Braxton, I love her voice.
I listen to that song like 5 times in a row. Oh man.
Maxwell, he has a couple songs.
You know, Maxwell does have a couple like.
Kenny Lattimore, a song.
What's my favorite Maxwell song? What's the song?
From who?
From Love and Basketball. I don't know if that's my favorite, but I enjoy that. It's the song where his voice goes really high pitched. There's like 2 versions of that one. That one's dope. That's a dope song. You feel me? What's that one called?
Like something water maybe? I don't know.
This Woman's Worth.
Yeah.
This Woman's Work. There you go. Toni Braxton. Yeah, you just want Della to be right.
Cause me and MJ, we right.
Y'all can both of y'all can shut up. The classic, Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. I only know 2 Phil Collins songs. I may know more, but I only know from VH1. This is what I was talking about when it was like I was watching VH1 and there wasn't really no black people on there. But Phil Collins had a song called "You're No Son of Mine." That video was crazy. It was an emotional song. But "In the Air Tonight" is a good song too, obviously.
It's like there's so much music and there's so many different ways to go. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like we could get lost in a rabbit hole.
So you don't think let me make sure I got the right song here. You don't think "Superstar" is a dope song?
She put you on blast, like, y'all, check this out.
That song is dope to me, man.
This Negro talking about Luther Vandross. I don't even know what song that is. Let me see what that is. Superstar.
You can't listen to it live. Like the music in it, that man, like it has a feel to it. It feels like eerie and like, yeah. Lucy Pearl, "I Want to Dance Tonight" is a bop. I really like that song. I don't often pass that up. You got to let that breathe. Superstar got to breathe.
You know what song? Like, there's a couple songs that come on where like I literally cannot refrain from moving, and that's "Vibrant Thing." I cannot refrain from moving when Vibrant Thing comes on. And
Kim is good too.
yeah. This is a beautiful song.
It's freaking it's like dope. That song has levels to it.
Yeah.
It has like it breathes. Like that song moves, man.
This is a beautiful song.
2%. You
CeeLo?
challenging my what song?
Every time it comes on, it starts off with the drums.
Oh, I'll be around.
Yeah, I'll be around. Like you can't not move when I'll be around comes on. Or Vibrant Thing.
That's a good cut.
Boom, boom, boom. I feel like we should just
No. Just stop.
Willie Nelson.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Wayne. I'm gonna check that out. I want to listen to it now. Jeez, I gotta find the Justin Timberlake one.
Yeah.
Babe, shut up.
It's like Justin Timberlake is more than that fiasco.
Oh, okay, true. I'm writing these down. 2%. I need you to solidify it and put it on the table, because we might have to take your black card again. Is "Superstar" by Luther Vandross not a dope song? I need it on wax. Rush, Tom Sawyer, Neil, drum work is epic. I'm gonna have to go back through this to see what you have contributed, sir, Angela Tyson. I'd be interested in what songs you find to be like really dope. Too many 80s songs are dope. Give me 2. I'm curious. Let me see. Let's see what my volume is at. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? If the next time me and the missus go live, we want to kind of try and see about inviting some people on to chat, maybe ask a question, and then kick y'all off of the stream after you ask you a question. Because not everybody can know when to shut up.
I mean, that's true, but when it's casual, you know.
I feel like you're gonna have to listen to it. The name of the song doesn't really play into what the song is about. It's like it's what the song is about, but it's not like the chorus says "superstar" a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's not that. Mm-hmm. Definitely listen to it.
I'm sure she's heard it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It really is.
Can I ask which modeling you had? Was it the larger or smaller one? I have the black 500 watt, a 600 watt one. That was $250, as I've had zero issues with the unit. That's 622 watts, if I recall correctly.
Is that the budget one you bought?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's black with red buttons on it and all that jazz. Am I in the right thing? You talking about too many 80s songs are dope, and you can't even think of none. Good on.
I mean, it be like that.
It do be like that. I could still make fun of you for it though, even though I understand it. Yeah, it's a 622 watt hour. It's not on sale anymore.
Ooh, you would have spent $500.
$500, never. $400, never. It's like, man, I mean, you know, I don't think it has the polish.
It looks good though. I mean, it does look good.
It has upside down plugs. Whenever you get a power station that has upside down plugs, it's just like, come on, fam. They're like, it's not going to just flip it upside down and you're just going to go with it. Like, that's not cool. That is not cool.
They're just trying to, differentiate themselves within the market.
No. That's not what it's about. Some stuff doesn't fit and they literally have to turn it upside down. They do the same thing with USB ports and it's usually on the cheaper models. So charge mileage.
See, I didn't really get into music until the 90s, like, on my own.
And I don't like live music. I mean, I want to hear the version of the song that I like. That's how particular I am. It's like somebody singing
Sometimes
it
when you
live.
go
I'm
live,
like,
you rock out. Like,
I guess, but whatever.
and there's something to the experience too. But I don't understand. Like, it's like hearing something live. Yeah, it just depends on how well they do.
I never really got into Prince. I have a couple of his like popular songs, like 1999 and When Doves Cry and stuff like that. But Prince really wasn't my thing.
Yeah, me too. A lot of Prince y'all fans. Prince has die hard fans, and I just was never into him. I mean, not that I didn't like him. It's just that he didn't move me. He didn't resonate with me. You know.
Thank you so much for Story Publishing. I appreciate
Aw,
that greatly.
that's cool. Very thoughtful.
What's something I wanted to talk with you about? Um, I don't remember. I'm not sure. Dang it, I lost it.
Hmm.
My taste of too raw. Aren't you fancy? To pin down 5 songs from Chuck
I
Berry, Johnny Cash,
understand.
Sunhouse, Albert King, Bo Diddley, Jimi Hendrix, Sade, EDM, Prince, Duran Duran. I dig it. I dig it 100%. What's your favorite Duran Duran song, or your favorite Jimi Hendrix song, or your favorite Johnny Cash song? I don't know them other. I mean, I know Chuck Berry, and I've heard of Bo Diddley, Prince, obviously, Sade, obviously. I've never heard of Albert King. Yeah, I couldn't. It was a block for me. Prince, maybe Toxic Masculinity or something. I always listen whenever I'm listening to a new pair of headphones or something like that. I listen to Stevie Wonder's "That Girl." So that's one of my like whenever I'm trying out a new pair of headphones.
Why? Because of the music?
Yeah, it's just like it's something I feel like because it has such a maybe a distinct sound. It's like the vocals and then the bass and I mean it's like it's a very crisp song.
Mm-hmm.
And because I do it so much, and I don't know why I picked that song, but because I use that one so much, I kind of know how it should sound in some ways. So if I listen to it and it sounds flat or something like that, I'm just like, that's not a good experience. But that's something I listen to often when I'm trying out new speakers or whatever. I've never heard of fingertips, which is not shocking. You know what I mean? I used to listen to the Commodores. The Eagles, Judas Priest,
Oh.
Most Def. Yeah, somebody said Umi Says was one of their favorite songs. I think it was Brother Dwayne Muhammad, which is a nice song.
I like Most Def. I like Common too. I like a lot of his songs.
Oh, for my Caucasian brothers and sisters, you should go and listen to Common's A Song for Asada. I think it's 2 T's. No, it's one. And if you're not familiar with Asada Shakur, you should go listen to the song, which is interesting. It's a good song. CeeLo is on there too.
I love CeeLo. I love how I love what he embodied. I love how he captures he's
Common.
from the hood, like straight up from the hood. But he's very, very unique. He's very it's hard it's for me it's even hard to put him in a box. You know what I mean? I love CeeLo. I really do. I didn't listen to his other music. You know what I mean? Like,
That's it.
Hmm?
You just stopped talking.
yeah, I started reading.
Oh.
Stevie Wonder and who? Taboo to Love.
Interesting.
Zoom.com again.
I'll have to check that out.
I will say it feels like everyone, we're all stuck in the 70s and 80s. Y'all don't listen to none of the, like,
No. 90s stupid R&B. Like, get out of here, 90s.
like none of the, like,
MJ did it's funny. MJ did mention Mary J.
yeah. Well, see, I feel like she's iconic. I don't know if I feel like any of her songs were like exceptional, but then again, why not? You know what I mean? I don't have a reason for why not though. I don't know.
Hey, Thrill is a good song. That's for sure.
I wasn't a big Michael Jackson fan either.
Mike Jack.
I thought he was great. You know what I mean? But
It's not that I don't like live music. I don't like live versions of music that I already like love because I feel like I like that.
Cool point.
I like that pristine. I like to hear what I want to hear. I want to hear
Oh, the version of it that you
right. I want to hear
created.
"I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. I don't want to hear like a version of that or like Alicia Keys or whoever.
Alicia Keys.
Because it's like a lot of those people can't carry those notes outside of the studio, and no knock on them. Oh, something died.
See, if I was in there watching TV right now, it would have.
It's on the GoLabs i200. You know what I mean? It wasn't on a real.
Do you think I care?
But it's because I'm here. I would have changed that dip out ASAP first. You know what I mean? So I do like live music, especially like live jazz and stuff like that.
Oh man, oh man.
Hold On by En Vogue is a good song.
Really?
I think so. It's a good song. Like En Vogue, I mean, those chicks can sing.
I'm mixing them up. With,
Wait, no, not Hold On.
You're thinking about.
I'm thinking about the other song. No, okay. No. It's What's It Gonna Be? I'm not gonna sing. There you go. You do it. I'm thinking about that song. Hold On is like a 80s like kind of dance Paula Abdul vibe, and I'm not into that. I don't know if that's what you mean, Stacks, but if that's your dip,
is definitely dope. When you said En Vogue, I was thinking of the other group. I Get So Weak. Who are they?
SWV.
Yeah, I was thinking SWV. TLC. I enjoy TLC's music.
Now listen, there's a song that was in there was a song that was in Collateral with Jamie Foxx and what's his name? Tom Cruise. It's called Shadow on the Sun. I love the way that song sounds, man. It has some weird like rocky parts in it, like rock and roll parts, and I'm just like, not a fan of that. But that dude's voice when he comes in and that guitar comes in, I really like that song.
Hey, it's Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You" beats the stuffing out of Dolly Parton.
I think that's a fact.
I didn't know it was Dolly Parton song either.
Yeah, I think it's playing in The Bodyguard, which is like, it's not one of my favorite movies, but I enjoyed that movie a lot.
Because of that song?
No, I like, movies that explore relationship. It was a nice song, a good thing. I was mad that the sister was the one that was crazy, but it was a cool song. Did we realize, was it Don't Let Go? Or what's it going to be? Okay. Yeah. I got to get some clarity on Duran saved a prayer. Hendrix is 649. Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, EPMD, You Got to Chill, Rage Against the Machine, Wake Up. Okay, cool. Thanks. Good choices. Let's see.
Are y'all familiar with anybody from like 2015 and up?
Who cares?
I'm not. I feel like one thing I tell people is like a lot of people are kind of like a blur to me. Like the Future, the Weeknd, like all of them. They're all the same person to me. You know.
What up? Is that
Hey.
Kaidat?
Yeah.
Kaidat. Yeah. I mean,
I'm more of a
I wouldn't-
Casey and JoJo fan.
I wouldn't
than
put them in
Jodeci.
dope. Jodeci was cool. You know what I mean? Like definitely you know what I mean? But I don't know if I'd go dope with Jodeci. I like Lately. I think Lately was a good
I don't know if it's. I don't know. It's like they were such a. They were such a big part of the music at that time. So it's like you don't want to slight them, but you don't want to put them on a pedestal just because they were big at a certain point in time.
Journey. Don't Journey have like a it was in like Tron. Separate Ways, I believe. Is that Journey? I like that song. I've seen Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Ice Cube, Mad Killer, Afro Man, Redman, Method Man, ASAP, Welly, 12 Ministry, Red Hot Chili Peppers, E40, Tory Lanez, just a 2 minute. And I imagine you mean
live,
in concert.
That's one thing. I've never been to a concert before, like ever in my life.
You've been to like something Donnie McClurkin did, right? Or was that not a concert in your
I don't know
mind?
if that was a concert more so than it was a performance. What do you mean SWV was okay?
Yeah, they kind of faded fast. They had like
Yeah,
one
they
or
did
two
fade fast.
albums. Somebody was saying one of them girls in SWV like is she can sing. I think it's like Coco or something like that.
What?
And there was some people SWV. We're talking about SWV.
They all the same.
No, I'm saying like somebody was saying like she can sing, like she's a beast. They were like, yeah, she'll sing any of your favorite people under a table. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Oh.
I heard Adina Howard, man. Listen, that speaks to little pervy Ive for sure. Hands of Time from that movie, Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Yeah, it was called Collateral.
Yeah, but I like that movie. I can't watch it over and over again though. I'd be
Yeah,
so
that's
mad.
a tough one. That's
One
a tough
movie
one.
I have watched one time. I love the movie, but refuse to watch it again even years later is Crash.
Yeah, I'm not. We actually have it. We own the movie, and I won't watch it ever again.
And I want
That
to.
or Hotel Rwanda. I'm never watching it again.
I don't know. I didn't watch Hotel yet.
I can't. As a father, I don't think I could watch John Q either. I think I would. I don't think I would make it.
Yeah. Same here.
It was tough when I didn't have kids, man.
Mhm.
I can't imagine having, man. Sheesh. Show and tell. Interesting. So Van Halen in concert in 1981. Yeah, it's like older black folks are really musically well-rounded, extremely well-rounded.
Mhm.
That's why I don't understand people trying to take 2%'s black card. It's like people like 5 to 10 years older than me listen to everything.
And like real music heads literally listen to everything. You know what I mean?
Rakim, I know you guys sold. Mahogany is fire. I love Mahogany. I don't know much of Rakim's library, but
That's true. But you know, there's another one too. There's Miguel.
yeah, that's what she
Mars.
means.
Like
She's talking
all,
about
like
Miguel.
all of them. Who's the guy that you and Bridges y'all love his song?
The Weeknd,
Oh, that's
Starboy.
Starboy. Yeah.
Starboy. Let me tell you something. Listen, it's a vulgar song. The chorus is super vulgar, but that song. Let me tell y'all. I think that song. I mean, you may not like the music or whatever, but I think the sound and that production, in my mind, it for the kind of song that it is, I think it's perfect. The Weeknd, Starboy. It's like I could listen to that
Listen to the
song.
clean version.
I don't know if you could listen to the clean version and still get it.
Yes, you can.
That
Absolutely.
song is just,
I'm sensitive
man,
to profanity when it comes to like,
man.
especially when it comes to like singing. It's like, why are you cussing? You don't gotta. You
Yeah,
singing.
I don't-
Why
I
are
don't
you
like-
cussing?
I don't like this vulgar slow music. It's annoying.
It's like, oh my goodness. Like I'll be listening to like my Pandora station, like Sabrina Claudio, and lately it's like Alina Perez, I think is how you pronounce her name. You know, her and Janae Aiko or whatever.
Jenny.
Who?
Jenny Aiko.
Oh, yeah, her.
I guess that's how I hear people say it.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, it sounds so good. It's nice and smooth. And then, yeah, okay. And then, you know, you'll hear like profanity, and it's like, wait a minute, hold time out. You know, I got the kids, and but
Interesting.
I mean, it's not cool. Amy Stewart.
Is that the song that's like being commercials and stuff?
Yeah.
Singing is two different things. That's what the people said. They was like, listen, Coco ain't a joke out here in these
He
streets.
kind of fell off. That is not true. It
Yeah.
evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, like, what we had then, we don't have anymore. You know, like we have a few people still kind of like holding on, but then again, it's coming back around because you know, Giveon, I think his name, or Giveon, Khaled, I think, not DJ Khaled, but his name's like Khaled or Khalid or something like that. It's like because of Pandora, I'm able to. That's the only reason why I'm beginning to become more exposed to, you know, some of the more current artists. Oh, somebody said they were a musician. What
That's brother Dwayne Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
I showed you his song. He on his Instagram, he was like playing. He's in a brass band, I believe.
Oh yeah.
He was like in DC.
You live in DC?
No. I think he lives in the NO, but he travels with his group.
Go.
So you said, can you? What's that supposed to say? I don't know if you're talking about a different Starboy or you just
maybe and Starboy is dope.
When I first said Starboy, I had to look up a couple things like a few facts. Oh man, Daft Punk, I believe, is who produced that song, and he has another song with him that's good too. It has like a Michael Jackson feel. It's called "I Feel It Coming." It's like a slower song, but Starboy is like, that's a vibe. I don't know how many times I listened to that song. I could listen to that song. I could listen to Starboy my whole morning, like listening, just sitting at my desk, like it just ends, and then I'm like, I don't want that to be over.
Yeah,
Start it again.
That's how I feel.
That bass, like, man, come
Childish
on.
Gambino song.
Yeah, it feels like summer. That's it.
It feels like summer, man. So smooth. He. Well, I don't know about all his catalog, but I love Black Thought. I absolutely, man, he is so dope.
Mark Lamont Hill just talks about how, because you know Mark Lamont Hill's from Philly, and he talks about how Black Thought gets overlooked all the time. So Black Thought is in his top 5, and it's like, man, I can't even argue with that. It's like Black Thought is so slept on. It's like if somebody has him in their top 5 or as greatest,
can't really argue it.
I don't know if I would give him GOAT, but I understand why people. I also understand why people would try to give Andre 3000 GOAT.
Because he's dope.
He's dope. I don't know. I don't know.
He is he's amazing to me. I love Andre 3000. He's one of my favorite rappers.
Oh, okay. She says The Weeknd's first name is Abel. Okay. I hope it's Abel.
Abel, Bruno, same person.
Can You Stand the Rain? That's a classic. That's a classic.
That
sure.
That is.
Daft Punk, yeah. Okay, what's happening? East Boy, Grease, Tower of Power. That has a good ring to it.
East Boy, Grease. That's cool.
Kenny Loggins. Okay, cool, man. These are some good joints.
Yeah, he got a lot. And the funny thing is, he gonna listen to all of them. He gonna give all of them a chance.
I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna look at some of y'all sideways, like, you thought this was dope, man. Okay, yes, I do listen to a wide variety of music. When I saw the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, I bought the soundtrack. I often track down songs from music and TV shows. I had a friend like that. Nika was like that. She was in the soundtracks.
Yeah, because, man, a lot of the music in soundtracks, I mean, in movies, like, man.
People who pick soundtrack movie music are like a different kind of, they're a different breed. Because you have to listen to such a wide variety of music and just like take. I feel like I could have did that if I was into a wide variety of music. Because sometimes I'll hear a song and be like, you know what, that kind of fits there. You know what I mean? Like that would be dope here, or to hear that. But I started paying attention to soundtrack music because of Naka.
Yeah.
She was like, you should, check out that soundtrack. I'm like, okay.
I think my first soundtrack that I ever bought was Waiting to Exhale.
Ava Bruno, same person I'm weak. You might be on to something. Day one fishy, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Love to you and your family. Straight up. I gotta be a full-time dad. They want other kids.
Shout out to y'all great fathers.
Credence Clearwater Revival. I've heard that before. Proud Mary Bamboo Riley. Many okay. Thanks for listening to Johnny Mathis. It's on 8-track. Man, you got me.
Yeah, I don't even know what an 8-track is. But,
really?
Like I've never like had one. Like I've had a record player and I've had vinyl. You know what I mean? But and not an 8-track. Everything from vinyl up. Metallica and Guns N' Roses all together. Everyone left.
So like for me, now she's making me feel old. Oh man. I also like really vivid songs. Like I feel like Tupac's Brenda's Got a Baby in that video just captivated something in me. You know what I mean? Like I like to attribute who I am and being like community minded to like songs like that. I remember Too Short's The Ghetto was just like, it was so vivid to me, and this depiction of what like the hood was like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just like man, that Brenda's Got a Baby just saddened me. Just, I don't know, it's a tough song.
We were just listening to
what's up, Doyle?
I think it was the shop actually when they were talking about how like everybody keeps putting Biggie and Pac in like the top 5, greatest go, it's just like, what, they're old.
I didn't agree with that point.
Well, I did. I feel like that's like so many artists and so much more music, has been created, and it's like it's kind of like, let's take them off the shelf and let's put them over here because okay, yes, but let's move on. You know what I mean?
Like who's it's like who even to this day has had more impact than Tupac on people? It's like, listen, if your favorite rapper loves Tupac, you know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about here? It's like, I don't know.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's hard for me to like pinpoint right now, but I feel like there are like, especially nowadays, I mean, it just hasn't been an impact on us. Like I think of Kid Cudi and how he has had a significant impact on a generation.
A certain type of person, though.
Tupac has had an impact on a certain type of person.
Tupac, I feel
fall into the category of that certain type of person.
I feel like Tupac. There's a wide range of people who love Tupac. There's not a wide range of types of people who love Cudi.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I mean, sure, there are, but I feel like Cudi's impact was on people who wanted to like the freedom to just be weird.
They wanted the freedom to be free and
themselves,
to be who they are.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Freedom to not have to live in a box and to, be based on like society, what society says and deemed to be, normal and fitting and so on and so forth. And
think about who the outliers are. If you look at any group or people typically belong to a group. And I'm not saying that they can't have assimilated into a certain behavior, even though they wanted something different for themselves. Fine. But most of the times, the people who struggle the most are outliers. And I feel like Cudi appeals to those people.
I think that his reach is more so than just those fringe people.
I'm not saying it's just those, but we talking about Tupac. Like,
so
Cudi doesn't compare to the impact that Tupac had on people. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Let's see what the people got to say.
Okay, who else? I'm gonna keep thinking. I mean, because the times are different, and so it's possible to be able to have it. And then Tupac was reckless too, so it's like
Absolutely,
he had a negative impact too, which is that
Absolutely. I feel like Tupac was a complex individual. He had a wide appeal because of that complexity. I feel like it depends really because certain cats changed the game. They laid the blueprint on how to get them dollars. Okay, fair enough. Two different energy, both needed. Who are you talking about? Give me some context. Okay, I did see Slipknot. Don't know how I forgot that. Interesting. Like, I don't know. The only person I could kind of see kind of being a person who can replace someone as like a great.
So why do they have to be replaced? Why can't it just be like, okay?
That was the whole point Jamel Hill said. She was like, eventually some of these people are gonna have to fall out of the top 5. But it's like it's tough because there's a period of time where those people's influence is still felt. You're not gonna have somebody. You're not gonna have somebody who's not influenced by the people we're influenced by. It has to be our children, their whole generation. But if you were kind of around for these people in like 90s music, 2000s music, the top 5 is not going to change. It's just like people who love like Rakim and Kool Moe D and Big Daddy Kane, and
I mean, it's like
those people are not going to say Tupac and Biggie are in their top 5. They're going to be like KRS-One, Tribe, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But we're a whole different generation. Yeah. It's going to take a whole different generation. And I feel like that whole different generation is not going to even know about Tupac and Biggie's music. They're not going to even know about Nas and Jay-Z's music. That's going to be like who are those dudes? And then you'll have those outliers that may be influenced by that music. So
because
it's like
they're music heads.
Yeah.
So they listen to everybody and everybody that they were influenced by.
Oh, Tupac and Cudi. Sure. Both energies, I'll concede that both energies are needed.
You seem reluctant. Sure.
Because I feel like I don't put Tupac and Cudi in the same situation. Like, I feel like, and I don't mean no disrespect when I say this, I feel like Cudi's like a one-trick pony. And what I mean by that is his appeal is broad, but it's broad for a specific thing. Like, I don't listen to Kid Cudi's music. You don't listen to Kid Cudi's music. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't listen. Yeah, but I don't listen to secular rap anymore. For the most part, and that's probably the only reason. Like, I like Day and Night, but I don't know how I came into being familiar with that song. But that's a dope song. And the only reason why I know about Kid Cudi to the extent that I do is because of documentaries, his latest documentary and stuff like that. But I guess it depends when it comes to borrowing from the old. I feel like, you can be inspired and you can borrow. But if it's like something that's made their own, it's like there's no, how do you get away from the older ones who, inspired you. That's true too. Yeah, being a lyricist and having an impact are two different things. Yeah, absolutely. I was about to take us on to another path by saying, y'all know Ivan is, I can't say sexist, but it's like he is blinded by his male privilege. And I can't remember the conversation that we had.
Please, let's talk about it because I remember it. You want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay.
What was it? And he was all passionate and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm starting to get heated. Like, I am a Black woman. How you going to, you're just like, how you going to be all passionate? Oh,
But you did agree
I
with me
remember.
though. It's like I wasn't wrong.
To a degree, it's like,
That's the
no,
only
you weren't
that's the only
wrong.
capacity that I wanted to be right in. I wanted to be right to a degree because I feel like it's a piece of the
But you
conversation
feeling
that
need
is
to be
missing.
right to a degree was dismissing the overall
Let's enlighten the
most
folks.
important point.
Let's
Okay,
enlighten the
go
folks.
ahead.
Tiffany Haddish was on a show called The Shop. LeBron and his, whatever, his partner or whatever, have a show on HBO called The Shop where influential people come through and have conversations in the barbershop. Y'all know how the barbershop is if you're Black and you're a man. I feel like women should know too. Because if you have, anyway.
See, it's like peeking. You know what I mean? It's coming up a little.
Well, women don't typically hang out in the barbershop.
We don't have to hang out in the barbershop. The fact that we attach to y'all, that gives us
That's
insight.
what I just said. So Tiffany Haddish said, and y'all have to excuse my French. Actually, I'm not going to repeat the word that she said. She said, if I ask for alkaline water as a woman and I don't get it or whatever, and I'm not going to put words into her mouth, but she said essentially like when I ask for what I want and I get called a B. But if a man asks for what he wants, he doesn't get called a name.
And it's within the context of, Hollywood, within the context of the industry. You know what I mean? The fact that income, because the question that was posed to her was whether or not, she feels like she has more challenges being Black or being a woman. And she was saying that her greatest challenges primarily come from, at this point in time, being a woman. And then her example was, when I asked for alkaline water, and then blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, for me, like that immediately resonated because I understood that reality that like a lot of times, too often, you know what I mean? A woman can ask for the same thing that a man can ask for, but because it's coming from a woman, then it is treated differently. You know what I mean?
She said, "I'm a B word." That's what she said.
It's like now because I asked for it, okay, so I'm a B.
And I hear this point of view very often from women who will say, "Well, as soon as I start to be assertive, I'm considered a B because I'm being assertive." Whereas if a man is assertive, he's the executive, or he's not being anything. And all I said was, there are women who like to espouse this point of view, but there are men who get called names too. And I'm not trying to do this tit for tat thing, but the point that I'm making is that you could actually be being a B word, but because you want to draw this contrast between you, and the example that I gave is Diddy. I said, listen, Diddy strikes me as a very like needy dude, just in terms of like him having what he wants, and if he doesn't get it, he can be, and the word I used was a dick. And I'm like, he doesn't escape being called a jerk because he's a man. And I feel like this point of view that when women exhibit behavior that men exhibit, they get called names. But I feel like men get called names too. But that never enters the conversation. And I'm not trying to do this like equality, equal offender stuff and tit for tat. I just feel like you could be being a B word. That's my only point. And we went down this path, and Dell was like, well, yeah, I'll let you speak to whatever.
My biggest problem was the lack of acknowledgement in the truth and in the reality of what women, have to deal with in a society that is very much deeply patriarchal. Like that my biggest thing is like, if you can't acknowledge the truth and the reality first, I mean, because his point is true. Like in some instances, maybe the woman was being sassy. Maybe the woman was, but too often, what if she isn't or wasn't? What if she literally was just being assertive? What if she literally is being looked at sideways and being called these names simply because she happened to ask for something specific? You know what I mean? And had the expectation for that desire or for that request to be met.
okay, let me inject this. I'm solution minded. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to delve into
Exactly. It diminishes our. That's exactly what he was doing. He was diminishing our
fine,
reality.
fair, whatever, planes on a snake. It's like if you can't be honest about the reality, if you have an overblown reaction to a situation, then I feel like we can't get to a solution because you're not living in reality. And if you're not going to talk about the nuance of both of those positions, like, hey, sis, you know what? You was kind of wilding. I mean, I was there. You was off the chain because you didn't get your green M&Ms. And I feel like if a dude doesn't get his green M&Ms and his Budweiser after the show, it's like that dude would get called a jerk for acting out. So I feel like men are not, what's the word for being protected by something?
Insulated.
Insulated. Thank you. Men are not insulated from critique. They're not insulated from being called names by people when they're in power. And Diddy was my example. I feel like if you watched like Making the Band or, whatever he was involved in and all that jazz, then that dude, he's a little bit of a diva. So I feel like this idea that y'all, okay, that's fine. But if I can't hear in the conversation when you're trying to talk about a problem that you deal with, if I don't hear nuance in that, if I don't hear objectivity, then I feel like that's missing from the conversation. And my brain thinks in that way. It processes it. Okay, well, you're not being completely honest about what it is you're potentially dealing with. Because you don't get a pass just because you don't get a pass for being a jerk as anybody. Oh, my screen died. Everything died, actually. Hold on, I gotta move quick. And see, this don't bother me. Oh. Oh. Here we go. Oh, this is off too. Interesting. Oh yeah, it could have. My bad. Can y'all hear me? We back in these streets.
See?
Somebody said Diddy is a male Mariah Carey. To be continued. Are we back? Can y'all hear us?
Oh my gosh. See?
It's like you agree with my wife and my wife agrees with me. So what are we talking about here? It's like there is a portion of my statement. I just want to inject it into the conversation. It's the same as anything else.
To the point, I don't know who said it. Again, yeah. What was that? Who was that?
Delgado.
It diminishes our reality because your priority is to speak to this smaller percentage of situations where that could be true, where that is true.
And that's all that matters. It's truth.
No, it's not all that matters.
I'm saying that the collective truth matters. You can't get to a solution. Yeah. You can't get to a solution unless you acknowledge all of it.
There was no acknowledgement of the fact that, that's the reality of women.
I'm not saying I have to acknowledge that.
I'm saying you should.
Oh, that's fine. I don't agree.
Why wouldn't you want to acknowledge reality?
I don't have to acknowledge that. I'm listening to people talk about stuff and they're not in the room with me. When you said what you said to me and I'm talking to you, I'm like, you know what? You're right. And if more women talk like that, that'd be cool. I acknowledge you. I don't have to acknowledge Tiffany Haddish. She ain't around. Oh, Tiffany Haddish has a good point when she says blah, 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 blah.
I think what it is like Tiffany Haddish.
She already espoused the point.
But her point was not acknowledged by you in any way, shape, or form because all you wanted to do was argue the counter to her. The counter to her point. Like the counter to her point was what was more important to you. And I feel like you can't even acknowledge the reality of women.
You're off camera.
And if you don't acknowledge the reality of women overall, then when you start going down this rabbit hole trying to counter everything, it's like, okay, we about to fight now.
That's your problem.
Like we about to go, tit for tat.
That's your issue. What am I supposed to do about that? It's like I'm supposed to lead with. If I'm Again, if I'm
That's
sitting
the whole purpose of communication. Like you can't
Again.
communicate with somebody if you don't want them to actually hear what you got to say.
if
the goal
you're
of
making points that
communication-
don't apply.
it does apply.
If I'm when
Because
I'm
if
in
you
the
would've-
room with you, I
if
acknowledge what you
would've
said. Did I
acknowledged it
not?
First, if you would have acknowledged it first, it wouldn't have turned into what it turned
I'm
into.
supposed to acknowledge a person who's not in my living
No,
room.
the point.
So, okay, fair enough. That's fine.
would've
I don't
acknowledged-
agree, but I get it.
If you would have acknowledged the point, then I wouldn't have felt the need to try to make sure you understood what she was saying and how it's a very true statement for so many women in so many different industries.
Let's be honest here.
Yep.
Do you feel like, I mean, what I should say is let's be reflective here. Do you
Okay.
feel like her words are lost on me? Am I that unreasonable that I feel like every time a woman says I'm called the B word because I want something for myself, that I would counter that all the time? I don't even rock like that.
I don't think that her words were necessarily lost on you per se. I think in the moment, what matters is that, again, like if it's acknowledged, then that puts it at rest for me to not feel like I have to make sure I bring this, clarity to you so that you can understand where she was coming from, or so that you could, be privy to the point that she was ultimately making and the truth of her reality, and how the truth of her reality resonates with many, 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 many women across the nation, across industries. And so when you and then we that's one of our bigger issues anyways. Whenever we get into these debates, it's just, again, it's like you seem to get into this space of like you just want to counter, and sometimes you start like, not lately, but you used to like fight. You didn't fight fair. You didn't argue fair. You know what I mean? It was just like, it just kind of dwindled into something just unnecessary, because you just wanted to argue what you wanted to argue, as opposed to the whole point.
I feel like I understand the point, and I concede the point. I feel like it is a good communication tool to acknowledge what somebody is telling you. I agree. I do. But I also do understand that my nature and most men's nature is to inject into the conversation what was omitted and what was left out, because we feel like it wasn't proper. No. It's the same. You're making the same point now, because then you think it was omitted, but we really understand you. I feel like you're going down that path.
I feel like,
but you got to acknowledge it too, if that's the rule.
To some degree, it's like everybody knows. Like somebody just mentioned Mariah Carey. Like everybody knows that sometimes chicks are divas. Like I think was it Aretha Franklin or not Anita Baker? What's the other one?
Patti.
Yeah, Patti LaBelle. Like they have these reputations for being, divas, and for being, difficult. You know what I mean?
But why don't y'all say that when y'all complaining about being called difficult?
Because we're not.
Why can't
y'all? We don't, but I don't know if we. I don't know. I think
I ain't never heard it.
The focus is on
complaint.
The disparity.
The complaint.
No. The focus is on the problem. It's like the problem is much more pervasive.
I heard
the problem
somebody
is
say
much more problematic.
I heard somebody say you can't solve a problem that you don't completely understand. And I feel like you can't get people to sign on and address a problem if you don't explain it or express it in its totality.
Like for instance,
like when we're talking about like police shootings and being discriminated against, and like I feel like my communication style is to acknowledge all of it. It's like, yeah, some cats is wilding. What?
Did our power station die? Yep. That's exactly what happened.
And it's okay. Power stations died. It's fine with me.
In the Richards household.
I plug it into the outlet. That's what I do. You know what I mean?
He's like, come on. I gotta move quick.
Let's see what the new folks is talking about.
But this makes me think of like the angry Black woman. You know what I mean? It's like
more times than not, women are dismissed. I take that.
Right. That's what I thought. If I could do a percentage, I would say like 80-20. You know what I mean? Or 70-30, but more so I feel more comfortable saying 80-20.
Yeah, okay, cool. Listen, that's not my fault. it's just like when I'm talking with people about politics and stuff like that. Just because you're used to talking to unreasonable people, that's not my fault. I'll take on that sometimes because I know I got to get you through your foolishness, your Fox News talking points and your MSNBC talking points. I know I got to work through it with you, but that's not my fault. I'm a reasonable person. I'm coming to it and you not hearing me. So women being dismissed, I get it. I understand. But you come into the conversation with a hostility about yourself. And I feel like, how is that hostility
Because
serving you?
come into the conversation with pride and arrogance. And so hostility.
What does that have to? I feel like, what does that got to do with what we're talking about?
It has everything to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about your hypothetical conversation.
So I go into conversations with people with pride and arrogance.
Yeah, well, with me,
I feel like that's a fair thing, but I don't go into conversations with people in general with pride and arrogance.
Yeah, I can't say. It depends. It's not the way that it is with me. I mean, because we just agreed to, and he mentioned it. Like, he doesn't value people's opinion more than he values his own. In a lot of instances, like he values his own opinion and his own thoughts and his own, more than most people. How you deal with that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you? It's like I should be asking myself, Dale, how you live with that?
But I have good opinions. Do I not? Do I not have good thoughts? Is it not a situation where, like, when Ivan goes to talk, people are interested in what I have to say? And I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just not trying to let her dismiss that. This is stuff I get told. This is not stuff I don't walk into the room like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm about to talk now. You know what I mean? It's like I just be chilling in the cut. And it's like if I got something to say, I say it. And people are usually listening. That's what you pointed out to me. I feel like, oh boy. Let's see. A equals A. A thing is itself. It has all the characteristics of that thing, not just those we would select. That's a point for totality. That's how I understand it.
Man, that was pretty dope, man. Go back. A equals A. A thing is itself. It has all the characteristics of that thing, not just, man, boy, let's screenshot that.
Well, it lives on in infamy and notoriety. Not infamy, but
that's dope, man. That's dope. I appreciate that.
If you acknowledge the women, who will acknowledge the men and speak up for them? If you, interesting.
Can you give it a moment?
No, I don't want to give it a moment. What about the reality of men? Yeah, I'm not in the conversation to do that. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, like, again, I feel like I'm solution oriented. If you can't be honest about the issue, then how can you solve it? But a lot of people don't want to solve problems. They want to complain.
I don't think it's about being dishonest. It's not. I don't even think it's about.
I didn't say that.
Not being honest. Sometimes I think it is
comprehensive.
Beneficial. Yeah, I think it is beneficial to bring that other side of the conversation, to make it more whole and complete. But oftentimes that doesn't feel like that's what you're doing.
Doesn't say now she's projecting. I don't see an argument here. You two are saying the same thing, just in different ways. That's my thing. It's like you literally told me my point of view is valid.
Yeah,
but you don't like the way that I didn't acknowledge your point of view first. Right. It's like, okay, I guess.
Like the way we communicate is important. The purpose of communication is not only just to be heard, but to also listen and to hear. And it's like, on top of that, like, there are things that you should do in order to make sure that you set the environment so that you can be heard. Like, it's like sometimes people just be talking just to be talking because they got a point to be made. Like, do you want your point to land, though? You know what I mean? Do you want your point to maybe even alter and help someone maybe shift and pivot? And I think that stuff is important.
So all women are high maintenance in some way, possibly.
No, all women are not. I feel like and then there are different areas where a woman could be, I guess, considered
sorry about
high
that.
maintenance in comparison to men, because men typically, are a lot more simple, easygoing, so on and so forth. With typically, so I dare say, like, are we really, high maintenance, or are we just, well, maybe because high maintenance carries with it a negative connotation. You know what I mean? Could it just be, we need to be, we have a higher level of maintenance required, but not necessarily, high maintenance, because high maintenance usually speaks to, a woman who is a little bit unreasonable, who requires and expects and demands, more than what is, reasonable. And sometimes reasonable is just maintenance. It's not high. It's just do and be.
That's a good point.
good.
That's a good point. The day will come when this becomes a thing that is so large that it requires full-time commitment. You mean this, me and my wife, or solar in general? I'm curious, would you want to do or desire this to do this full-time? Absolutely. I would do YouTube full-time. I would, in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. I could do that.
Mm.
Doing YouTube full time would enable us in many ways to be able to, like, design our own life the way that we want to, as opposed to having to work around certain things in order to design our life.
Did you see that? It seems like there's more Karens than Kens. There's something to be said about that.
I don't
Someone
know,
should-
because is it that, or could it be like, maybe the Karens? Or, yeah, I don't know.
This is her trying to be objective and unrealistically
No,
objective.
because it's like, I feel like y'all don't put stuff out there like, I don't know, like we do.
Fair enough. And Joe says someone should value his own opinion. That's why he has it. Hey, I dig that. Says you. This is
That was
good.
cute.
All points taken. As an example, if a woman is sharing her experience of rape and your response is a lot of women make false rape reports, it's not the time for that conversation on false reports. I agree 100%. But if me and my wife are in a room and someone on TV is saying a thing,
Oh my goodness.
and then someone is like, believe all women, I can't say, well, believe but investigate. I can't say that in the moment. I what I mean? I feel like I should be able to talk freely with, now, if my wife comes to me and is talking about a thing, of course, no one wants you. People who do that are ridiculous, first and foremost. You shouldn't, you don't challenge someone, especially, I get what you're saying. People shouldn't do that. Let me just say that. That's not cool.
Yeah, I do see, like, the balance in that, because in that situation, I think it touches me a little bit differently, because I have 3 sons, you know what I mean? And I am aware of, just how prevalent false reports are. And I also am a survivor of, sexual assault, you know what I mean? So I understand even on that other side, and in one instance, I reported it, and nothing came. I was told by the district attorney that they didn't feel that my case was strong enough to prosecute. Like, it wasn't a case that they felt was going to win, ultimately. You know what I mean? So I was denied that ability to proceed with, the process. You know what I mean? Because they knew the jury pool and so on and so forth. So it was like, it was crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that situation, like, I don't feel like believe all women and men, even though men don't really report it, because I also understand that there are a crop of people who have falsely reported, sexual assault. And for me specifically, I'm personally vested in the many, 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 many Black men who have been incarcerated, you know what I mean, falsely, off of those situations. And then overall, the men, period, despite ethnicity, who were incarcerated off of, like, a false claim. You know what I mean? But to your point, definitely right. But I do feel like there is room to bring the that portion of the conversation that's missing and add it back into it. I just think it's just a matter of how you do it, you know, what I mean? And when you decide to do it, you know. Yeah.
I don't agree with this.
Brilliant.
I agree with this in some ways, but
That is not
no.
true. I tell him he has a point all the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Huh? I said often. Did I say all the time?
You roll the tape back.
I mean, I do. I often, cause I feel like I often concede because he does make good points. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's funny because like our debates, they start off like just in this like whirlwind, and mainly because of him, you know. And then after like going at it for a while, you know, finally we get to a point where we can, you know, have a meeting of the minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a good point. It's not about honesty.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, and that's important. We're not saying it's not important. It's just like, man,
Listen,
use your time wisely.
let me tell you something. Like,
It is midnight.
yeah, which ain't nothing for us. I don't know why she's saying that.
That ain't nothing for me. Can't y'all tell he tired?
Okay. I was sent a message today that there was another police shooting. I don't know the details about it, so I don't have an opinion. And you know, I honestly I stopped watching the videos quite some time ago. So what I tell my wife all the time is on like I'll have thoughts and I don't share them on social media because I know it's not the time. I feel like people are in their feelings. And I don't even say that in a bad way. I just feel like people are raw, but I'm still solution minded. So I'm thinking about like, okay, how do we address this situation? Because we can't keep a la carting this problem of policing and being the final authority figure as it relates to how they treat citizens. You know what I mean? So I go high level. Like, how do we address this problem? But people don't necessarily want to have that conversation in the moment. So sometimes I don't say anything, you know what I mean? Or I may be like, I have a thought, and then my wife would be like, yeah, you shouldn't say that right now. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I agree with the whole idea that, you know, timing is everything. So I agree. I hate to mention Mark Driscoll because I feel like the jury's still kind of out on him. We rock with Mark Driscoll back in the day for sure, but there was some things kind of surrounding his church and how he handled his business. But he said something, and I don't know if he was quoting somebody, but it stuck with me. He said, you know, 1, does this need to be said? 2, does this need to be said by me? And 3, does it need to be said right now? And I feel like those are 3 important questions we should all ask ourselves when we're especially about to say something that's off the chain.
That's good.
I'm sure it will be my interpretation. Most people want to win, not be righteous.
And some want both. They want to win and be right. Like,
I don't believe all women are high maintenance. I just heard it from a lady guy. that makes sense. Trust but verify. Yeah, that's a good. However you say it, it's just like don't run blindly. Like yeah. I'm sorry. You know, like look into it. You can say that in that situation. Kept my yarn storage full and I'm good, not high maintenance. I don't know what that means. Okay.
basically, if I get it, she's saying like, I'm thinking like knitting, like being an old woman and knitting, and if she got to be single, you know.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, see that the thing about this with me and my wife, it's a partial component of the channel. It brings a little bit of something, but the channel is about solar. So this content doesn't quite fit this channel, but we have intentions of doing our own thing on another channel. It's hard to build an audience, right? Because the masses don't necessarily seem to care about substantive conversations. They may care in principle, but it's not where they spend their time. They spend their time watching the fanatic and the all the things. Could high, maybe. I'm off of the high
No, I wouldn't
maintenance
say-
stuff. That's different. Go ahead.
It's like
I'm
a
off of it. You want to
conversation.
sit there? You sit there. Have at it. What do you want to say about what Brother Dwayne is saying?
I would say no. I wouldn't say high maintenance equals high value, but I would imagine that, where high maintenance is like on a surface level, where there's like high maintenance, but there's nothing of substance underneath it. I feel like it's like wanting to have the appearance of being high value. And you could be high value and be considerably low maintenance. When you think about what comes to mind, like when you think about the difference between like people who really have wealth and like how they maintain, like what their lifestyle is, and what their daily routine is, and what they wear, and so on and so forth. Like that's what came to mind.
True.
That's true. Yeah. And I love listening to people. I love like speaking with people who have different
Of course it
opinions.
was. You agree with my wife.
Absolutely. I knew that. I love like having conversations with people who, think differently, who feel differently, who believe differently. It's just all, again, it's about the way in which, they converse is what matters to me. Because I'm always interested in the varying perspectives. That's important to me. Because the interesting thing about me is like for the most part, it depends on what it is. Like when it comes to faith, not so much, but in pretty much every other area of life, I'm for the most part pretty open and willing to pivot and shift in my position or in my understanding or in my perspective, at that point in time. Like that's why I love having conversations, because I feel like, I'm flexible, you know what I mean, mentally and intellectually. Except like again on matters of faith, it's like because I'm studied, you know what I mean. I'm authentic, I'm sincere, I'm serious about my faith, so you can't just come talking to me about any old thing and I'm like, really? Okay. You
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. I was just thinking about people who they come to you with the presumption that you're like everybody else, because everybody else is not studied and savvy and informed and so on and so forth.
Mm.
And I always say, people like to make those assumptions about things because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, they will be right. But then they run into us, and it's just like, well, no, you're not right, fam. You're wilding. Like you off the chain. You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
And that's an unfortunate, part. And I think that's probably the case. I would imagine that's the case with all faiths. You know what I mean? You have like a certain number of people who, like you said, like if you were to make that assumption with, a lot of people within like the Christian faith, you would be right. Like reading the Bible, like how, like, do you know the Bible? Have you read the Bible from cover to cover? Are you really studied when it comes to your sacred text? And it's like how many, Christians can say that out of like a if you were to poll, say 400, Christians. Like, what's the percentage of those people who actually do live and walk out the faith? So like, I can't be mad at, the assumption, it is what it is.
Thug life.
Yeah.
What else you want to put on Front Street?
Yeah, it's late. I feel like I don't want to get, I don't want to deviate, too. I feel like we're about to end soon, right?
All right, boom. Let's wrap it up.
Like 2% you knit? No, crochet. I don't know if that's your tone or anything.
It's easy for us to be
Oh, thank you,
judgmental.
Karma.
The hard part is to realize that if you think it's a problem, it's a real problem for the people who care about you. Interesting.
It's easy. Wait, it's easy for us to be judgmental. Okay, I've been told that so much that like it can't even be an insult, because I'm like, you know what, I am judgmental.
I don't know if I would go that far.
I feel like I am absolutely judgmental.
I feel like you
I make
assess,
yeah, I make,
which
it's
is
like
not a problem.
I make judgments, I assess, I have an opinion. My opinions are strong. I don't mind sharing them. I have perspectives, and it's like, and people, oftentimes people, they feel like you're being judgmental when you're speaking to a thing that rubs them wrong, or that they happen to fall into that category. They don't appreciate you calling them or their behavior to the carpet or bringing light to it. You know what I mean? But and don't nobody ever, you compliment somebody, don't nobody be like, you being judgmental. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like when you're speaking well of, like, it's the very same thing. You have an opinion and perspective, and you're assessing something, and you feel a certain way, and so on and so forth. And so, because it's something that feels good to you, you know what I mean, or it's complimentary to you, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm judgmental, and I'm completely okay with that. Especially since 10 times out of 10, people who say that like to use the verse in the Bible and have no idea, like,
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah,
You being judgmental. I feel like,
oh,
what's
thank
an
you,
example
Karma.
of somebody being actually judgmental? Because I don't feel like you're judgmental.
Right. I'm judgmental. Exactly. Me too.
I feel like somebody presents something to you and you have an opinion of, the interesting thing is you have an opinion of their public stance or their public behavior. It's like, I can't judge you, if I can't assess anything about you if you don't show it to me, but you're going to show it to me. And then when I like, out of relationship, I have an opinion on what you did. Now I'm being judgmental. And it's like always something that's unbecoming. And it's like, and we move in the same kind of moral whatever kind of sphere, and it's like, I'm being judgmental. I don't think that's the case. I feel like I really have to kind of look into what it means to be judgmental. I need like a real example. I was talking with Harrisonian Boogie about this, and he gave like a really good example. I think he said,
I think there's a distinction. Like, I feel like I feel like it's okay to be judgmental. You know what I mean? It's okay to judge and make judgments. I think what he was talking about is it's a whole nother ball game when you talk about condemning.
yeah,
Like, now, if you have a problem with condemning people, you know what I mean? But to condemn someone is something very specific, and most people aren't necessarily condemning people. You know what I mean?
I think the example he gave was something like, I don't necessarily like how you parented in that particular situation. And then being judgmental would be to say, you know what, because of that thing, you're a bad parent. You know what I mean? Like, you suck as a parent. That's kind of, I feel like that's how he differentiated. I'm gonna have to search Facebook for that
And I feel like,
conversation.
and if that's how they truly feel, like, I feel like it should be okay for them to feel that way about you, especially if they are, because I deal with this a lot, because I am like I want to say I'm a combination of old school parenting, conscious parenting, positive parenting, and gentle parenting. I'm like developing, tools as far as how I parent as a mom, from all of those methods, if you will. You know what I mean? So I have this, but I hate the parenting groups like on Facebook. I loathe them with everything, with every fiber of my being. I hate those conscious parenting groups and those conscious positive mom groups and stuff like that. Because I feel like it should be okay to feel like the way you and your evolved self as a parent, the way you are parenting, you have evolved away from, like, say, sister so and so who's back at maybe level 2. You know what I mean? And it's okay to feel, personally, level 2 mom is, she sucks as a parent. You know what I mean? I feel like you should, it's like, I like to give people the freedom to feel and to think however they feel and however, they think. I think that should, for the most part, be okay. Because for me, I expect level 2 parents, she gonna evolve into level 3, level 4. She gonna be where I'm at, you know what I mean? And she could very well surpass me before you know what I mean? So I feel like I feel like we should give people the space in the room, to grow and to shift, but also give people the space in the room to feel how they feel about what you presented. you know what I mean, about what you've shown. You know, it's all about how we. I feel like it's more so about how we treat each other. I think that's what matters more than what we think about. Even though what we think about people could pretty much influence and translate into how we treat people. I guess that's a. I like that.
Interesting. Thank you, MJ. We appreciate that.
Understood.
It's right there.
I was looking over on the other side. Thanks, MJ. Yeah, I like to say we regular. You know what I mean? We had nothing to try to prove. That's why I could never be you know, a known, well known or a celebrity or anything of that nature. I feel like leave me alone. I am who I am. I feel how I feel. I'm not where I'm at.
When what you require plus deeply rooted from something you unreasonably, obsessively desire equals a difficult individual. Interesting.
I can see that.
Change the title to the judgmental and the high maintenance woman. The last live that went kind of long, and it was basically I put 2 timestamps in it. And I was like power station talk and talks about like race talk. So that's 2 segments. I may go through and put more timestamps in it, but that's pretty much how it went down. And this one's going to be similar.
This is super long.
Yeah, it is.
I almost feel like saying sorry, but yeah, y'all rocking.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just listen.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't start any other topics. I want to watch a little bit more of the shop. I love the shop. I really do enjoy listening to these entertainers and athletes. Yeah, just chop it up in the barbershop.
1700 watt hours. What's that?
Oh, not great though. Well, that's not cool.
I don't know what the math is, and I don't feel like doing it. What you got to divide 1200 by 1700? 1200, 2000.
You ain't tired?
I'm slowing down. Wait, I did that wrong. Jeez, I'm 1700. I think divided by 2000. Yeah, 85. That's common. It's I guess you're right. It's not great. But most power stations end up at like 85% efficiency. So that's about how much I would expect. I also tested the EV70S and it tested at 685 watts. Okay, it's not bad.
It's cool. Mike's like, yeah, let's talk some solar.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Solar.
I can't hang. Catch you on the next one.
Boom.
We about to wrap it up. Listen, thank y'all for hanging out with us and chatting and all that jazz. When we launch whatever we gonna launch for us specifically, y'all will be the first to know. Y'all be beautiful. Till next time.
Night.